Good morning, good day, good evening. I am, as always, your host, Brody Robertson, and today we have another VTuber guest. Sadly, he's not a kawaii anime girl this time, but keep watching, because he is still a fun guest. Welcome to the show, Ren. How are you doing?
I feel insulted. I just got on here. I feel insulted already.
Hey, you have the long hair, so you just gotta go get rid of the beard. Maybe you can be a bit cuter then.
just rebrand.
Exactly. You wouldn't be the first one to do it.
I mean, you're not wrong. I say as I've rebranded my Twitch already when I became a VTuber.
Yeah, that's fair. Right, because you've been streaming for, what'd you say, 4 years or something like that?
4 years. I have literally nothing to show for it. Just take my word. Don't look into it.
Well, I've got your YouTube channel up on the screen right now. So explain to the people what you actually do, because you do like you're in a really weird niche, like extremely weird niche.
I am a Linux VTuber. I'm doing on Twitch at least the same things all the other VTubers are doing. I just happen to use Linux. But on YouTube, I'm making a lot of showcases of free software you can use for content creation, how to use VTuber software on Linux, how to just do a couple Linux things. I'm not super into general Linux stuff, at least not yet. There's actually a video that's going up. It'll probably be up by the time this video is posted. I'm posting it the week we're recording this, of how to install Linux.
Okay, yep.
Just how to install it.
I presume you're going with something like Pop! OS for that one?
I'm using that as the example, but I'm going to do a general installation guide of just how to go into BIOS, how to select your boot drive.
Right. So, I want to talk about why there was a bit of a delay this morning. So, anyone using Linux probably has come across, especially anyone using Arch Linux. So, you know how Discord, is a basically containerized web app, and it downloads its own updates and does all that stuff for you.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't, though, because there's still different versions in the repos. So you will have a version, it'll update itself for a while, then at some point it's like, hey, go and download the latest deb from the website. What are you talking about? So when you do, when it comes up, you have to go and reinstall Discord. And then it will just get, reinstall literally the same version, and the error will go away. But in my case, I actually forgot to do a system update for about a week or so. So there actually was a new version. There was a new version in my repos. But also because my kernel had upgraded, my package list hadn't upgraded. So trying to just update the Discord package wouldn't work. So to do a full system update, I'm now on kernel 5.14.6. And everything should be working. I had to do a reboot because with the virtual camera, that's a kernel module. And if I don't reboot, the kernel module will be out of date. So now we're 10 minutes late, but it's fine.
I have that same kernel module because that's how OBS does virtual cams.
Yep. Yeah, there's been a couple of times when I've done just an update. I didn't realize it was a kernel update as well. And I just couldn't do a stream, or I couldn't do a video or something like that. And why is this happening?
Yeah, luckily I don't have that that update issue because I'm using it Ubuntu based. I just download the latest one for the website and install it and I'm done.
Yeah. But Arch is fun.
Arch seems like a lot of fun to mess around with. I don't think I'd have a good time daily driving it.
I think if you keep in mind the problems that Arch does have, you should be fine. It's when you go into it expecting it to be as easy to just not worry about as something like Pop! OS or Ubuntu. You actually have to worry at least a little bit about Arch, but if you at least keep in mind those problems, you remember to do updates, actually, I think I might have waited 2 weeks. You remember to actually do updates, little things like that, generally stuff will be fine. If you know how to read an error message and actually search for what the problem is, from what I found, it's typically fine, but I also am a crazy person who jumped into it as my first distro, straight from Windows.
Oh god.
So don't take my word for it. This is just, I sort of have fun messing around with stuff anyway like that. If you hand me a torch or something, the first thing we're going to do is probably take it apart.
Not turn it on. No, I don't need the light. I want to take it apart.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would not have a fun time with that because I'm still learning how to read error messages.
Right.
So like when I just did an upgrade where I reinstalled my OS to an SSD and split the home directory off. For some reason,
Good.
when I was installing it, and this was the install where I was using a camera to record my computer screen so that it could show for my video.
Right.
It would not install. Could not figure out why. I went through the whole installer. There was nothing wrong with it. I get to the very end, can't install. Wrote log file, and I go to it and I open the log file. I'm just looking through it and was like, I have no idea what any of this means.
Your first problem with the log file is finding where in the log file you need to be looking.
I started at the newest part that was written and went up. And I'm just like, I have no clue what any of this means. Luckily, I am in the Discord for the Linux experiment. And some of those people were just like, yeah, did you try doing it in, you're in BIOS mode from the thing. I was like, what? Yeah, do it in UEFI mode. What? So, yeah, it turns out the Pop! OS installer defaults to BIOS mode.
Oh, okay. What? Wait, like that? Wait, Pop! OS? No, that's... What? Why?
Yeah, weird. Yeah, so I did it, and I booted it in UEFI mode.
Okay, yep.
And so it loads, and I downloaded the ISO and made the installer for 21.04. I loaded it in UEFI mode, and it loads the installer for 20.04 LTS.
It's something.
I'm just like, I didn't even download this version. But it worked. It installed. It did everything I needed to. So I just installed it and then updated to 2104.
Oh, man. Look,
it works. It was a weird process, but it works.
If those are problems for you, just avoid Arch, because those are going to be like, that's going to be your entire day.
I am, my moderator has officially announced that I am the king of the technical issue of, well, by all means, it should be working, but it's not.
Well, judging by the fact that, like, your current VTuber setup is the epitome of that, like, it kind of makes sense.
Yep. I am using software that should not be running on Linux.
So,
Wine is my friend.
Because there's not many people who probably even consider VTubing on Linux, how about you explain, like, your janky setup and the problems that it should have, but it doesn't?
It's not so jank anymore. The update that actually went live that removed the exploit thing I was using and properly fixed the local tracking.
Right.
So I'm actually using a proper feature to get it working right. But initially, when I was doing it with Live2D, the software I'm using is VTube Studio. When you load it up on Linux, it can see your webcam, but it can't get any frames from it, which is weird in and of itself. However, it does show an option called VTube Studio Cam. It's not supposed to. That is supposed to be the name of the virtual camera it creates when you install the virtual camera in Windows. Right. That's not supposed to be an option for your camera for the tracker. And I'm running OpenCFace on a terminal separate from the program. Well, I chose that, and it read from OpenCFace. I don't know why. The developer did not know why. To this day, neither of us know why that worked. It just did. And look, I'm just kind of sitting here. I joined the beta program for this. I joined the beta program for the sole reason of, okay, where's the update where this breaks? And it finally came like a week or two ago. It's like, oh, found it. This is the one that breaks it. The developer spent 2 hours with me getting the local host tracking to work properly. So like, shout out to Denchisoft on Twitter. Denchi is amazing. I don't know why they thought they would spend 2 hours with me working on it, but they did, and I appreciate it so much.
No, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
So the way it's working now is that you can run any face tracker locally.
Right.
You set a little file ip.txt, which is on GitHub that you add to the files in the Steam directory. Yeah. And it starts searching your local network for a face tracker going through a certain port. And And that's how it was supposed to work. Initially, when Denji implemented it, he or she, I actually don't know if it's a he or she, so I'm just gonna say they made it to where it was searching for their modified version of OpenSea Face that's built into VTube Studio, not vanilla OpenSea Face. So it was auto rejecting vanilla OpenSea Face. And they're just like, oh, they changed, I think, maybe one line of code. It's like, okay, now it works. It was one of those little oversights where it's like, oh, okay, I know how to fix this. There we go. Pushed an update. It's good now.
Beautiful. What an absolute mess.
I mean, I'm the psychopath who's using it on an operating system it wasn't made for.
Look, but that's just insane. The dev's willing to help you for that long. Like that's crazy. When
honestly, I mean,
there's such a tiny set of people using it. Sorry, what was that?
At the end of the day, it also helped the Windows version because it made it to where that feature was working the way it was intended.
Right.
It just, the problem happened to pop up on a Linux system. I could speak words.
I know the feeling. Man, what an absolute jank setup. Like, I think one of the many reasons why I haven't tried VTubing, apart from the fact that models are expensive, but
that is very true. I don't have legs because they're too expensive.
Who needs legs? Like, look, besides for like Ring Fit streams, how many VTubers show their legs?
Right.
I mean, the model debut and Ring Fit. That is all.
And I'm not going to stream Ring Fit because I need room in order to do that. So I have to I have a second Switch dock in another room that I actually play it on.
Yeah, room is a bit expensive for me. Like, that's as far back as I can move.
Yeah. Yeah, no, don't have a lot of room either.
I'm going to be moving in a couple of months, and the room is way bigger there. So I actually better have space, like, segment off half the room as, like, a studio, and I can use that and, like, have an actual backdrop that's not just my bed. It'll be lovely. And I can use my green screen, a bunch of other cool stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Because this room, I think it's 2.5 by 2.5 meters. I don't know, what is that in feet?
Only 2.5 meters for the whole room?
It's a shoebox.
Let's see, hold on, what am I in?
2 feet. 2.5 meters is 8.2 feet. I don't know. Yeah, 8.2 feet.
Yeah, okay. I figured it was somewhere around like 10 feet. Yeah.
But the new room I'm going to is 3 by 4, so
3 by 4 meters. Oh, dang, that's significantly more room.
Yeah. So I can literally just segment off half the room and just have one section just for the studio, and that will be lovely.
That will be absolutely amazing. The only thing I will miss,
like VR, if I wanted to, that would be cool.
Oh yeah, that would be super fun. Yeah, I want to get into VR, but it's so expensive. And as you understand, Linux, not a lot of hardware support at the moment. The things that are supported are the more expensive ones.
Yeah, you can get stuff working to an extent. I think it's gotten better. There was a while where, even like on the expensive headsets, there was a lot of stutter issues, and stutter issues basically just make it unusable.
Yeah, I think like the best compatibility right now is the Valve Index, and I think the Vive is pretty good now.
Right. I would be surprised if Valve didn't try to make it work properly on Linux. That would be if any company was going to do it, Valve would be the one I would expect.
Yeah. And I mean, Valve, I'm pretty sure they bought HTC's VR segment to make the Index, so the Vive working well makes sense as well.
Don't
quote me on that though. I'm not 100% certain.
I'm just going to take your word for it.
It's either they bought it or they partnered with them. I can't remember which.
If I was going to buy a headset, I probably would buy an Index, though. That's like...
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. It's the best one on the market anyway.
Yeah. I don't want anything to do with Oculus at this point after they've been co-opted by Facebook. With
If that jailbreak to remove all the Facebook stuff from the Oculus ever goes live, then I would buy an Oculus.
Wait, I didn't hear about this.
Oh yeah, there's this team. They found a jailbreak to remove all the Facebook stuff for it, but they aren't making it public because they're waiting to see if they can find a way to make it to where Facebook could never block it before they release it.
Right. That sounds...
Which I appreciate, because if they did release it, Facebook would patch it and then would be back to square one.
Yep, absolutely. Just never connected to the internet. Can't patch it then.
Yeah, there you go.
No, what you do is... Actually, here's an easier fix. Just block the... In your host file, just block the Facebook API.
Here's the question. Would it require it in order to boot?
I would hope not to, if it's jailbroken.
Oh, if it's jailbroken, yeah.
Yeah, obviously then, yeah.
I mean, as a default, if it like won't boot up the OS without connecting to Facebook's API, then it doesn't matter what you do, you're fucked.
Yeah, that... I haven't heard anything like that. I presume I would have heard if it doesn't work at all off... Maybe... Here's what it could. If you have an internet connection, it will connect to Facebook. But if you don't, it would still work. Because if they just made it a brick without an internet connection, that would be... I would have heard about that already. Absolutely.
I mean, Google did it with their smart speakers. If you don't have an internet connection, they just constantly tell you to connect to the internet. It's hilarious.
Why the fuck would you... Like, stop buying smart speakers. They're dumb. Like, there's no benefit you get from a smart speaker.
I got a free one, actually, from Spotify.
Okay, it's free. That's different.
And I tried it out, and I liked it for a little bit. And then I found out that it's kind of useless without the internet. I'm just like, oh. And I just kind of stopped using it. It's sitting on my desk, but it's not even plugged in.
I have an LG soundbar that I got 50% off like 5 years ago. It plays audio. That's what it needs to do. I don't need this smart speaker nonsense.
Honestly, again, I got it for free with Spotify, so...
Why was Spotify giving away smart speakers?
I don't know. It was only Google Home Minis.
Okay, sure. Maybe Google just wanted somewhere to get them into people's houses.
I guess so. I guess they were trying to just be like, wow, Alexa's taking over smart speakers. Hey, we have one. Use our product. We're Google.
I've owned like a couple of like little smart devices here and there. Like I've had some smart bulbs and other things like that. And look, maybe I'm just getting old and I hate new technology, but I can't stand them. I genuinely can't. Just give me a light bulb that turns on. I've had smart bulbs that just won't connect to the app and they just don't work. They just sit there flashing trying to connect to the app.
Yeah, I'm very picky on smart devices. Like, I never want to own a smart TV. Ever.
Oh,
Stop
absolutely.
making smart TVs. Yeah. I don't want an OS and have to wait for that to boot on my TV. Just turn it on.
If I want an OS on my TV, like there are devices I can buy. Like I could buy a Chromecast.
I have an Amazon Fire Stick. I'll just plug that thing in.
Computer. I can just plug that in as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand maybe you don't have a computer to plug in, but like Fire Sticks are what, $30?
Absolutely.
And I have one. I need to actually look into rooting it because apparently you can do a lot of really cool stuff if you root it because it's built off Android.
Oh, okay. Amazon Fire Stick. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's modified Android.
Oh, so there you can root it. That's cool. I don't know what you do with it, but
apparently, I mean, you can. I've sideloaded stuff like Kodi and stuff onto it, even though Kodi's very confusing, and I still haven't figured out how the hell to use it. But it's on there. I can't figure out how to use it though.
I just got booted up Arch Linux on it.
Okay, that's a new one.
Use the Fire Stick to... Actually, no, here's a plan. I wonder how badly... or actually, no, better yet. I wonder how much you could emulate on a Fire Stick. Like, how powerful is that? Could you theoretically play Atari games on it if you installed RetroArch?
You could probably get away with Atari, but I don't think you get much further.
I don't know what the specs for it are, so I'm genuinely not sure. Not yet. Well, that's what I expected.
It can't output more than 1080p video. And they probably designed it around that being the only thing it did.
Wait, it can't do... is there not a 4K variant? Like, 4K TVs are getting...
There might be a 4K variant, but the one I have is just the standard stick.
Right. Okay, right. That makes sense. According to this, it has a gig of RAM. That's impressive. Wow.
That's more than I expected. Ah! Ah! That was my alarm for work from before I changed shifts.
Well, that actually segues well into a topic. I actually have been meaning to get back and finish Persona 5.
It's a great game. I played
I
through
got
it
up
twice.
to the I got up to the, what were they called? The what were the dungeons called in that game? Castles, palaces?
Palaces?
Yeah.
Palace.
I was up to the last one, and I just I never got around to finishing it.
The last one,
I got busy with
or
uni and stuff.
what seems like the last one?
I guess what seems like the last one?
Who was the king of it?
God.
Or the ruler of it?
Um
By the way, spoilers for Persona 5.
Yeah, well, okay. Spoilers for Persona 5. Shit, I don't remember. It as I said, it's been a long. I think it's like a year since I last played it.
I mean, you don't need to tell me a name. Just tell me what they look like, and I'll probably remember them.
That's the problem I'm having. I'm just looking at the wiki. I'm just looking at the wiki. I don't care.
Were you playing 5 or were you playing 5 Royal?
Royal wasn't out at the time.
Ah, okay. Okay, then yeah, the actual last palace is... Well, no. Because there's a thing actually after the last palace.
Shit, might not have been the last one. Anyway, I was very close near the end of the game. Wait, is it Shido?
Shido, okay, that is close to the game. That's not the last. There is one more after that.
Okay, it looked like the end of the game. We're getting to the climax at the end of the story.
Yeah, no, it is the climax of it's the pseudo climax.
Right.
After that, there's like, all right, we've done this, and then it's like, but wait, there's more.
Right.
And the part after that, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's really good.
Yeah, I was borrowing a copy off my mate, and he ended up wanting the copy back because he was like selling his PS4 and wanted like a bundle of games. So I'll go and like buy a cheap secondhand copy somewhere. I'm sure I can find it fairly cheap at this point.
Honestly, just get Royal.
I might look. I kind of want to get Royal
because in Royal it has all the same content plus more. So if you're gonna go buy it anyway, might as well buy the one with the extra content.
Yeah, that's fair. But when I first played Persona 5, for like the first, I think 30 minutes I didn't play it. I just stood in like the first area. I was like, wow, this music's really good. I just didn't even move.
Damn, this music's bopping.
Like, a lot of game soundtracks are fairly boring and you don't really remember them after you finish the game. But there's some games out there where the soundtrack is like so good that there is
absolutely
a lot of songs you remember, like the when you're just walking around outside the main cafe area, like the music that plays there, or the battle music in Persona 5. There's so many songs I can distinctly remember.
It's so good. Like, I've almost finished Persona 4 Golden, and well, I don't like the game as much as 5. I definitely like 5 more. The music is that same, just amazing level.
Yeah. I've got Golden on Steam. I haven't played it yet. You were saying that it might be a bit of a pain in the Proton?
If you play it with Proton Experimental, apparently it fixed a lot of the issues I was having when I initially tried to play it.
That's good.
So
I'll have to have a look at that.
Oh, cool. Now that I'm almost done playing the game on my Vita. Thanks.
I've been looking at I've been playing some games under PCSX recently, or PCSX2. And I've got Persona 3 downloaded, or Persona 3 Fest.
Same. Yeah. I have that set up as well.
I haven't played it yet.
Audio's a pain in that emulator, on Linux especially.
I didn't have Oh, sorry?
Because you have to finagle it for every game.
I didn't have really any issue, at least with the... right now I'm playing through Shin Megami Tensei 3. I didn't have any issues with it there.
Yeah, in Persona 3, the audio sounds fine.
Right.
It's just slightly delayed. And that
Ah.
bothers me. Because
Okay.
I'll go through the menu and the clicks will be a little behind when I'm actually going through it and seeing it change.
Right. Maybe stuff is slightly delayed and I'm just not noticing it. It's possible.
I think it's just Persona 3 because different games do different things because that
Mhm.
emulator is still really have to configure it for the games,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a little annoying, but I think that's just elimination with PS2 emulation.
Mm. It worked. Like I remember when PS2 emulation barely worked, but
Fair.
it's really good nowadays. Like even on like fairly mid-range systems, it's really good.
Yeah, I think the worst experience I've had was I loaded up Jack 3 on the PS2 emulator, and all the textures and shadows were wonky, but the game itself played.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's all
So
that
like
matters at the end of the day.
I could get it to where the textures were mostly okay. Eyes were like this weird rainbowy thing, and shadows just stretched to the edge of the screen, no matter what they were or where they were. They always stretched off to the side of the screen.
It's
Which
playable.
was not unplayable. It just didn't look very pretty.
Yeah. Well, and Jack 3 is it's a fairly good looking PS2 game. I think
It
one of the
really
things
is.
I think one of the things a lot of PS2 games did well that a lot of games now are really struggling with. It's the same thing with like early PS1 stuff. They're trying to go like really high realism. But there was an era there where you had a lot of stylized games, and the stylized games are the ones that still look really, really good nowadays.
Right, yeah. I wish more games would go for that stylized look instead of hyper realism.
Like
Like
take
I see
Okami for something. Like
You were
something like
saying?
Okami on the PS2 is a beautiful game even now.
Oh yeah. But like I'm seeing all these new releases and I'm looking at them, it's like it looks like they were all made in the exact same engine with the same textures. I feel like that one game could walk into 3 others and would not look out of place.
Have you seen the trailer for what is it called? Wukong Black Myth?
I don't think so.
Sorry, Black Myth Wukong, whatever. It looks really, really, really good, but it's gotten to the point where we've hit this insane level of realism that I don't know. Like, there's not really many places you can go from there without the budgets getting just insanely expensive. They're already bad enough.
Yeah. I think the biggest offender is to this predicament in the opposite direction is Game Freak and the Pokemon Company.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to talk about the Diamond and Pearl remake? Is that where you're getting at with this?
Well, that's not where I was going. I was actually gonna just complain more about Sword and Shield's graphics. Yeah. Highest grossing IP in the world. Barely any budget to make an upscale 3DS game. Why?
There was...
Which that's the reason why the game doesn't look great. It's because it initially started on a 3DS, and then they just switched development to the Switch, but they didn't change the budget. They had the same budget.
There is I can't find it now, but there was a post I found a while ago where someone remade a lot of the really bad animations, like how you have, I think it's the wing goal animation, where it's just all the birds where they're like, just this.
Oh, yeah, I saw that video too, actually.
And someone, I think they remade him like a week or something, and actually made like, good animation, birds flapping their wings, basic stuff.
Like, I remember in the videos, it's like, these animations aren't great, but I made them in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And they're better.
The other problem it has...
Pokemon, but... man.
This was fine when we were using sprites or, like, basic 3D models on, like, the 3DS. Like, this was fine, but now that we have a home console, there's no excuse for getting Pokemon scaling wrong. Pokemon Colosseum got this correct.
Honestly, I think they should have stuck either with 2D art styles or kept with that sort of chibi style they did in X and Y.
Yeah. I think that would work.
Yeah, I think going to the full-size 3D models is just too much.
Well,
This
now that
game's
you have,
always meant to be a portable game series. It was
Mhm.
developed for the Game Boy. It's always been on handhelds. And I mean, Coliseum and XD did all right on home consoles, but there wasn't the same sense of exploration of exploring the wilderness. It was all just going from city to city.
Yeah. Then let's not even talk about like Battle Revolution, which was basically just existed for competitive Pokemon.
I liked Battle Revolution. I thought it was
I
fun.
like Battle Revolution. It was fun.
I didn't think it was like the most mind-blowing, greatest thing ever. It's like, it's fun. I want to play. We're going to play Pokemon at my house. Let's throw it on the TV and make them 3D while we're at it. Why not?
Oh wait, I found the video about the guy who remade the animations. Let's see. I don't want to see your ad. Go away.
What if I wanted to see the ad?
Oh yeah, hit this the Skarmory that doesn't even move its wings. Like,
Yeah.
Like this isn't even animated at this point. Like what are you even doing? I totally get that. I totally get that you know, animating this many Pokemon is hard. But what they need to do is either commit to putting a massive budget into this game or cut back and actually have good animations for what they do have. Like,
right.
If you're gonna have like a single generation of Pokemon, like just do 100 Pokemon or 150, whatever you want to do. Animate them well. And they have been cutting back with a lot of stuff, but they still haven't been fixing the animation problem or
right.
not even just like waiting animation, like attack animations also. Like they can't even line up attacks sometimes.
Yeah, and
like,
the whole removing the national decks, everyone was so upset about that. I wasn't upset over the fact that they removed the national decks.
Mm-hmm.
I was upset over the fact that they said they removed it so they'd have more time to work on the animations and stuff, and then they didn't. It's the fact that they lied about why. If they had just said, we're not going to have all the Pokemon, we just don't have the time to do it. Okay, fine, fair enough. There's a lot of Pokemon. That makes sense.
Sure.
But the fact that you told us, we're going to improve the animations and make all new models and such, when you meant you were going to make the models from the new Pokemon and then reuse the rest of them and not do anything to the animations.
Isn't it so strange that the spin-off games have way better animations now? Like Pokemon Snap, that looked Pokemon Snap, yeah, Pokemon Snap, the new one. The it looks great.
New Pokemon Snapped.
It looked great. The animations are great.
Still, I don't understand Nintendo's obsession with using the prefix for new, because
that's
not
confusing. Oh yeah,
they had an existing prefix they could have used that they've used since the 90s. Just put super in front of it.
No, new is what we do.
Imagine if instead of saying the new 3DS, you said the super 3DS.
That does sound pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it sounds a lot better.
Look, if they start doing that, though, they're gonna call the OLED Switch a Super Switch, though. It's not very super, though.
I mean, that one makes sense. It's Switch OLED. That's fine. It's exactly.
Oh, they actually did call it Switch OLED, did they?
Huh?
They did actually call it Switch OLED, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, that's acceptable.
Yeah, no, that's better. It's just Switch OLED. It's a Switch with an OLED screen. I'm not gonna get it because I don't want an OLED screen on my game console.
No, I don't get the obsession with OLED. Like, it's fine. It's fine for things where you're not going to have any static images, but it's not to the same extent, but it has the same problem that Plasma does, where you get pretty bad burn-in with any, like, if you use it for like if you use it for a computer screen, my toolbar would just burn in because it doesn't move ever.
Same. I would have that same issue. I think OLED is great for a TV where it's like the big TV in your living room that you used to watch movies and stuff on. Fantastic. Absolutely. Don't use it for anything else.
Yeah, like OLED phones.
I'm on my second phone with an OLED screen. The old one, it's like basically pink now. Which was my old Galaxy Note 8 before I started trying out my de-Googled OS, Calyx OS on a Pixel. Right. I'm so scared of the same thing happening to this phone.
Yeah, this is why I buy like cheap mid-range phones. This is like $300. That's 300 Australian, which is like 200 US.
I got this Pixel 3a for $90.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I only buy used.
Well, if you get a de-Googler anyway, there's no point buying a new one. That one's gonna
Right.
know how to de-Googler anyway.
I like the de-Googled OS,
Mm.
but I miss my Samsung. I miss having the stylus from the Note phones and stuff, and the convenience that came with that.
Mm-hmm.
To a lesser extent, I miss the wireless payment, but I can live without that. It's mainly the stylus and stuff.
I've never really got behind wireless payment. I use my my card to do wireless payment, but I've never really got behind like use my phone for it.
It's for people like me who forget their wallet.
That's fair.
That it has saved my ass so many times. Now with this phone, my wallet is a little magnetic thing that snaps to the back of my phone and folds over.
Mhm.
So if I have my phone, I have my wallet. Less of an issue.
Right, actually, I'll show you why I can't forget my wallet. 1 second. I'm gonna bring the mic with me.
Oh no. Oh
That's
no.
why mic arms are great.
What am I about to witness?
Here we go. I carry a bag with me. This is how.
Oh. Well, yeah, that'll keep it from happening.
I like having like, you know, a bunch of stuff in my pockets.
Yeah. Kind of hard to forget your wallet if you've got a bag attached to your hip.
Exactly. I actually know someone who left a laptop bag on a train, like with a laptop in it.
Oh,
$2,000
no.
laptop just on the train.
Oh, that would terrify me. I've got a bag for my laptop and stuff, which my laptop is crap. It has a pop-out disk drive.
Oh,
That's how old it is.
Oh, that's impressive.
Weirdly enough, though, it has one of the OG Intel RealSense cameras. When Intel's trying to push those on laptops, it's got one of those early cameras.
RealSense. That one.
That's
that
their
one?
3D camera.
Wait, I must have missed that one.
Yeah, no. When they first came out with them, for some reason they pushed them on laptops. I don't know why.
Tell Reals in. Huh. Why? What
I don't know.
purpose?
I'm glad they exist because you could actually write a program for a 3D VTuber using the Intel RealSense
Ooh.
camera as an alternative to using the iPhone Face ID tracking. You'd
I
have
don't know
to
how
just
well it would
write
work
it
with like
to
one of the
use
older
that.
cameras.
The old ones are okay. I could actually load it up in OBS and I see like a bunch of green lines showing the 3D image in a 2D space. I cannot get the normal camera working though, which is weird, but it's fine because it's just a laptop. I'm not going to use it for any video calls or anything anyway.
I was just looking at some just to see if someone had done it using the Kinect camera for VTubing. Seems like some people have.
You can do it, but the SDK is only on Windows.
Right, okay. That's fair enough.
So you would literally have to write an entire new SDK in order to get it to work.
Because I know the Kinect is like no one gave a shit about the Kinect when it was a gaming device, but that thing is beloved in the research space. That is such a cheap depth camera. Like,
oh yeah, no,
the Kinect,
I have one still. I have a 360 Kinect.
Because before the Kinect, if you sorry, I cut you off.
I had a 360 that I never used, and it came with a Kinect.
Yeah. So just sitting around doing nothing now.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, I mean, I might as well try it out. I got an adapter and everything, hooked it up to my Windows PC, and yeah, if I want, I installed the SDK, and it could work. I couldn't get any software for it because it costed like I wanted to use it for like VR, it's like a cheap VR setup, but the program in order to use it was like $15. I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm poor.
That's fair. But what I was saying was the Kinect. The Kinect sort of like revolutionized depth research, depth-based research. Because before that, if you wanted to do any research with a depth-based camera, the depth-based whatever, you know what I'm saying. The cameras would cost thousands of dollars. The Kinect is like what, a couple hundred?
I think
and you can get a secondhand way cheaper.
Yeah. One thing I'm really excited for in terms of like VTubing 3D cameras is you can use the most common 3D camera used in VTubing is Leap Motion.
Right.
Leap Motion has a Linux SDK and a Mac SDK. They're significantly behind the Windows one, but they exist. The Linux and Mac SDK is like 2.7 or something, and the Windows SDK is 4.4. So it's like they were developing them all three operating systems together, going forward, every version together. And then at some point they're just like,
nah.
screw the Unix ones. And they just stopped.
It's weird that you would throw like the Mac one away. Like I get throwing the Linux one away, but the Mac one, there would be some sort of audience for it there.
They threw away both of them at the same time and just solely focused on the Windows one only.
That's weird.
But the downloads are still there. You can still download it.
I've
installed it on this computer. I don't have a Leap Motion, but eventually I would like to get one. Because shout out to a developer. King Ewan. They are developing an open source 3D VTuber program.
Ah, yes,
which is currently on GitHub. Yeah, it's currently on GitHub under the name OpenCFace-GD.
What a great name.
It's using OpenCFace and it's building Godot.
Ah, right. Okay, that makes sense.
It currently is being rewritten now from scratch and renamed using that as like a basis. And I am proud to say I came up for the name for the rewrite, and that is Virtual Streamer Software.
That's much better than OpenCFace GD.
Significantly better. We tried to come up with a logo, and that did not go well.
Well, this actually this works surprisingly well in the state it's in.
Yeah, no, it works really well. It's just not the cleanest interface.
Right.
Actually, the current interface is significantly better. He has rewritten the interface 3 or 4 times now, and I think the current one is probably the best version that we've got so far. I actually need to rebuild the latest version because he added some features that I've been waiting for, like what is it? Interpolation? Is that where you make blend frames in between?
I'm gonna say yes. That sounds right.
Yeah, well, he added that in for the blinking and mouth movement, so now they're smooth instead of really choppy.
Right.
Because initially they were locked to the frame rate that it would track at, which was 12 FPS. Totally fine for tracking, but if you don't interpolate the frames, then it looks real choppy.
That makes sense.
He did interpolation on the model. He just didn't do it on the eyes and mouth.
Well, if you got it one step, you at least can work out the rest of it then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it didn't look bad. It's just if he added it would look better.
Right. That makes sense.
He did. So, also, someone started contributing a ton of stuff to it out of nowhere. It's like, okay, well, I guess he thought he was going to do the rewrite like next year or something. He's already kind of started on it. He's like, wow, this went by much faster than I expected.
Hey, look, maybe there's a secret program of VTuber who wants to use it or something.
Maybe. I mean, that's kind of what he made the default model for it, which was just this low poly duck.
Yes, I saw that one.
And yeah, that's what he uses as his VTuber now.
Beautiful.
To the point that someone made a logo for OSFGD where it's just a pixelated duck.
It's not a bad look. A logo just needs to be something that makes it memorable at the end of the day.
Yeah, I tried to make a logo for VSS with like this like purple gradient with like a white V and then 2 S's. It's just like, so you've just got like SS in the center of it. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe we should change that.
Maybe we should go with the pixelated duck.
Honestly, I feel like you should just use the pixelated duck on both. Because I feel like that's just a better logo.
I see that Live 2D support isn't there yet, but it is a planned feature.
Ideally, yes. Live 2D is very finicky in order to be let's see, where should I start the story? So I should actually start with VTube Studio. VTube Studio was initially planned to be open source.
Right.
However, they had to stop that because in order to be officially licensed, they couldn't be open source. And they're just like, they wanted the credibility of being officially licensed, so they decided to not make it open source. Totally understandable. I still trust this developer, so it's fine. But there is another group, Vignette, who's working on making an open source implementation of Live 2D.
Ooh.
However, all they've done is just made an interface, and that's about it. And they just keep reworking their interface over and over and over again. I think they're worried that if it doesn't look absolutely perfect and professional, no one's going to use it. Which, I mean, it's a legitimate fear, but it's just like, I mean, if you don't make it work, no one's going to use it anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's this weird little catch-22 I think they've got themselves in. Though I still am excited for the project. I hope that eventually they do get it working and that it get it up and running because the interface looks absolutely beautiful. It is one of the best looking interfaces for an open source project I've seen, period.
I hope so with that much effort in the interface.
So you can compile and download the interface as it is right now off GitHub. It looks amazing. It is super well polished.
Yeah, I'm having a look at it right now. It actually looks really good.
It's one of the best looking open source interfaces I've seen because not a lot of designers get into open source.
Anyway, yes, open source. You took VTube Studio.
Yes.
we got sidetracked there.
Right, welcome to Tangent the episode. What were we talking about initially?
Live 2D implementation being jank.
Yeah. So they've worked on making an open source live 2D implementation, and when they get that working, UN is going to look into adding that to OpenCV so we can do 2D and 3D, similar to a program on Steam called Vup, which can do 2D and 3D. I'm not crazy about their approach for it because the way they work is that your VTuber is rendered in a separate window from the actual program. So the program uses two windows, which I'm not crazy about. Though, of course, it keeps your interface hindered at all time when you're capturing it. So I guess that is an upside.
That's fair.
I guess if you have like a 3-monitor setup, it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I technically have a 3-monitor setup. I have a TV behind my monitor. I
technically have a 4-monitor setup because I have 2 virtual desktops.
Yeah, it works. I would like to have, like, at some point when I actually have room, I want to have some monitor arms and actually have, like, a 3rd monitor on an arm.
That would be really nice. I'd like to have a vertical monitor I could have for, like, just chat.
That's not a bad idea, actually. I might have to do that.
As I have it right now, I have OBS, and then I have Firefox with a link to my direct Twitch chat, the little pop-out thing you can do.
Right.
And I just have them side by side with the Twitch chat just squished down as thin as it can go, and then OBS taking up the rest of the screen.
That makes sense. Yeah,
and that works relatively well.
I've got most of my stuff sitting on a second monitor. One of the nice things about Tiling Window Manager, it just handles it all for me. So I've got my Pulse Mixer open, OBS, and also my file manager just to make sure I actually started recording. Actually, it was good. It was a good one to have.
Now that I think about it, I can just take a screenshot of it because I have it basically set up the same way already. I just got to open Firefox. And nope, not you. The bookmarks one, and go to Twitch chat.
I use the Restream chat for mine because I do Restreaming.
Yeah, I don't bother with that because affiliate.
Yep. That makes sense. Yeah, that's the reason why I think I'm almost at affiliate if I wanted to get it, but like I'm not going to because of Restreaming. I think Restreaming is too valuable.
Yeah, you've already built up your audience to be on different platforms, so for you, it would just shoot yourself in the foot.
Well, at some point I might. It's just right now I don't think it really makes any sense.
Fair. Okay, well, when it finally processes, I don't know why it's taking so long to process a PNG.
What's this?
This is a screenshot of my setup for like OBS and my chat next to each other. And I don't know why it's taking its sweet ass time to send it. What?
This is good content.
This is very good content.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh,
okay. Wait, let's see.
So that's how my second monitor looks.
Open link. There we go. Yes, open the link. I don't care. That's how you. Okay. Right.
So that's how it does my second monitor, which is off to my right side, and then my main monitor is just directly facing me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're a sensible person. Cool. I don't get the people who have 2 monitors that have like both angled.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like I mean, maybe if you play games in ultra wide and you've got one of those little plastic things that like blends the monitors together.
I guess. Maybe. Ultra wide
But even
monitors
then,
are
I
kind
feel
of
like
cool,
that would
but
still work better as a 3-monitor setup with one centered.
the only problem I have with ultra wide is it sort of gets in the way of doing captures. I have to like segment off the like 1080p section I want to capture, and it's just a mess like that.
I don't want an ultra wide. I just want more room for more 1080p monitors.
Like there's ways in Xrandr you can actually turn like a single monitor into like multiple virtual monitors. So I could make it work. It's just jank, and a lot of programs don't play nicely with it.
Yeah. Plus, because I stream basically every game I play on my PC now, I just want it to be the same aspect ratio as the game's going to run at.
Right, that makes sense.
Most games are made for a 16:9, with a couple of them supporting ultra wide.
Unless you want to play a racing game, in which case ultra wide all day.
I don't play racing games.
I
Does
know
GTA count as a racing game? I play that sometimes.
Racing sections of GTA.
I mean, yeah. But then again, I played in third person, so.
Yeah,
mainly
no, you definitely wouldn't want it like that then, maybe.
I'm weird. I like to play racing stuff in first person if I can see the car edges instead of just the camera, like a bump. I don't like a bumper cam.
Oh
no,
no,
I want a bumper cam, but I want to see where the edges of my car are in that view. Because I don't know if you saw on stream, I was playing Yakuza and doing Dragon Kart, and I was playing in first person mode, and I had no idea where the edges of my car were, so I was bumping into walls.
Yeah, I remember a lot of like early PS2 titles did the bumper cam sort of thing. I've never, I can't, like, if you're gonna have bumper cam, just don't even have first person.
Yeah, fair. Like when I was growing up playing Need for Speed, which one was it? It was one of the ones on the GameCube. Need for Speed Underground 2.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Yeah, I'd play it with bumper cam every time. That is the way I had to play, and that's why I grew up playing racing games, was using the bumper cam. So that's now like my default for anything that has racing and stuff in it. I want to have a bumper cam.
God, I guess there's an audience. Sure. Someone's.
I don't know
someone's
why,
gonna be the
but
reason why this still exists.
That's how I got the spatial awareness in 3D racing games, was from that perspective.
No, I like my third party. My third party. God damn.
Third person.
That one. Third person camera.
Yeah, the third person camera I like in stuff like Mario Kart and typically now Dragon Kart in Yakuza and in GTA. Now that bumper cams seem to have kind of fading away, that's now my backup.
So I'm probably gonna play Yakuza at some point, but let's just assume that I wasn't. If you wanted to sell someone on Yakuza, how would you do it?
I don't know. Yakuza Like a Dragon's the only one I've played.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, how would you sell me on that game then?
Do you like Dragon Quest?
Sure, yes.
It's a giant love letter to Dragon Quest.
I'm
not even kidding.
That's not what I had expected, sure.
It's literally just a giant love letter to Dragon Quest. It's great.
Okay, sure. That's not where I expected that to go.
It is the only game in the series like this. The rest of them are like that sort of more action-packed fighting game.
Right.
But this one is a full-on JRPG that's just a giant love letter to Dragon Quest, which I love Dragon Quest. I've played Dragon Quest 4, Dragon Quest 5, Dragon Quest 9. I need to get
9
9
is great. I love 9.
9 is one of my favorite RPGs on the DS.
What's it called?
Citadels of the Starry Sky.
Yeah, there we go. It's been so long since I played that. I don't think...
Same, but I remember the name. I don't know why I remember it so well, but I do.
Man. That's a fun game.
That was a really fun game.
I think that might have been my first JRPG as well. I have a feeling
I don't think it was my first one. I think my first true introduction to JRPGs was... Pokemon, if you count that. But outside of that, probably Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, yeah. Kingdom Hearts doesn't have really much... it has RPG mechanics, but they're fairly light. Like
it's an action RPG is what it is.
Yeah.
It's got the
Like,
same baseline mechanics of an RPG, but it's using an action combat system instead of a turn-based.
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Akin to like what the Fantasy VII remake is using.
Mm-mm.
Or one of the modes for it. You can set it to turn-based, which is probably how I'll end up playing it.
I've never played Final Fantasy VII, like, at all.
I have never finished it.
Ah.
I've played the beginning section, but I've never finished it. I've actually never finished a Final Fantasy game.
I finished 10. 10 is very good. That
I know it's good. I haven't finished it. The closest I can say to saying I finished a Final Fantasy game was I finished A Realm Reborn in Final Fantasy XIV. Which is great, except I have 3, about to be 4 more expansions after that.
Yeah, I have a problem. So I've been watching Asmongold recently, and I kind of want to play Final Fantasy XIV, but like I know if I do, I'm gonna sink a lot of time into it.
Have you tried the extended free trial of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV? You can play through the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 with no restriction on playtime.
Yes, thank you. This is a problem.
I have to say the copy pasta. I have to. It's required. It's in the terms of service for the game.
There's so much free content. This is the problem. I know that with all this free content, I will get addicted to it. Because I played RuneScape. I'm not even
done with the free content.
I played RuneScape for 7 years. I know what's going to happen when I play Final Fantasy.
Oh, speaking of RuneScape, did you hear about the shit show that was what Jagex did?
The RuneLite HD plugin? Yeah.
Yep. That was...
if anyone who's out of loop on that one, basically, RuneScape has multiple clients, and the main client is shit. No one runs the main client. If you run the main client, you just started the game, you don't know other clients exist. So, everyone who plays RuneScape... at least old school RuneScape, plays with RuneLite. It's an open source client, and there's a plugin system and all of this fun stuff. The plugin system, like, they do moderate the plugins. Some plugins are there just purely for hacking, in which case they will just, like, get rid of them. But this plugin was a fan-made HD remake of the game. So I think it was in, like, 2008 or something. RuneScape had, like, a massive graphics upgrade, but old school RuneScape was a server set before that. So this plugin was going to basically bring those graphics up past that HD remake, but not change any gameplay. It was a project for, was it 3?
It took the original art style and just essentially upscaled them all and just remade the textures to be HD versions of the same textures.
Sure, yeah, but it was going to bring it more, like, further along. Like, they're going to look better textures. It looked really good anyway.
It looks significantly better.
Good RuneScape standards, but much better. Anyway, how long was the project going for? Like 2-3 years, something like that?
It was definitely years. I can't remember the exact number, but I know it was years. One of my buddies from work is been playing old school RuneScape since it released.
Right. So
and this is how I know about this.
So this project was in the works for a very long time. Jagex is well aware that it was in the works. Like, this guy had, like, everybody knew, anyone playing RuneScape at the time knew this was in the works.
Yeah, he had released trailers and stuff for it. It was all over social media. It was impossible to not know about it if you were in the RuneScape community.
And then, I think it was the day of or a day before that it was going to be released. It was sent through to RuneLite. They checked it over to make sure, like, you know, there's nothing sketchy in there. It's not going to be, you know, a cheating tool or anything like that. They'd approved it. They contacted Jagex, and Jagex were like, no, we want to make our own HD client, and we're going to sell it.
I didn't even hear that. I just heard that they just DMCA'd him and just said, no, you can't do this.
Oh, no, they didn't explicitly say that was the reason why they did it, but they are working on their own HD client. They are working on their own HD client. That is known. They've already said that.
Oh.
And they're going to be charging for it. But this caused a massive backlash with, like, massive unsubscriptions. And then because this wasn't done by the OSRS team, they were, like, really happy for this to happen. It was corporate. Corporate were like, wait, we can make money off of this. How can we make money off this? Let's just stop them. So corporate stopped it.
The people above the old school RuneScape team.
Yep. And when they realized they were losing shitloads of money, like, wait, okay, you can have your plugin. We're still going to work on the HD version, though. So I don't know what's going to happen when that actually comes out. They might try to take the plugin down again once that actually comes out. It's possible.
I think the smart move to do would be
not
to
touch
just
it.
License his plugin, make it official.
What they could have done is they could have hired the dude. Just like, hey,
they might as well
do it.
It's just like, oh, you made all this for this RuneLite thing? Yeah, take it off RuneLite. We're gonna pay you. Put it in our thing.
Mm-hmm. But the problem is, like, if they'd shut it down day one, we're like, no, you cannot make an HD plugin. Fair enough. But
the fact that they waited so long.
After all of after it was done, they waited till.
Yeah, that's the fact that I have it, it's done, years of work, I just can't release it.
Mm-hmm. But the worst part about this is it's not actually the first HD plugin. Like, there are other clients for RuneScape that are HD clients.
Are they just basic upreses though?
I don't know if they're basic upreses or retextures, but there are at least other clients that do change the textures.
Wow.
It was just this one was so popular.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. I can't believe it.
Corporate will make money wherever they can. Every time. Like, I've been getting back into, like, MMO stuff, and it's very bad. Like, I've been watching, as I said, I've been watching Asmongold. I've been watching people like Josh Strife Hayes, and I don't want to play an MMO, but a part of me wants to.
I've tried a bunch of different MMOs, and Final Fantasy XIV has been the only one I've enjoyed. Mainly because I sometimes forget that it's an MMO. Yeah,
well, that's what a lot of people say when people are saying to give it a shot. Like, play it as a Final Fantasy game, and then forget about the MMO stuff for now. Just deal with that later.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's my problem with MMOs, is that the style of how they tell stories in MMOs is like through little text boxes and fetch quests. I hate that. I hate that so much. I will get so tired of that. That's part of the reason why I don't play like Dark Souls and stuff, other than like the brutally hard difficulty that I know I'd be frustrated with and would never finish.
There's a story in Dark Souls?
If you read through the item descriptions in Dark Souls, it tells a story.
I know. Look, if I want the story for Dark Souls, I'll go watch like Vardy video or one of the YouTube channels about it. I'm not going to deal with the item descriptions.
Yeah, but telling the story through like item restrictions and text boxes, the only time I've enjoyed that was in like the Metroid Prime series.
Sure.
And that's because the point of the game was exploration. And you're supposed to just scan things and put it all together. That's fun. That's like solving a puzzle. In Dark Souls or in an MMO, you're doing this tedious task over and over again. That's the same thing over and over again. And your only reward for doing it is 2 sentences.
Hi, I have a quest for you. Go kill 5 goblins and I'll tell you the rest of the story.
Go kill these 5 goblins and then I'll give you the task to actually go to the mini boss to then defeat to bring me back an item in order to go to this major boss and then come back in order for me to tell you another 2 sentences.
I watched Asmon play like the intro section of Final Fantasy XIV. There was like a 15-minute cutscene before the game even started. Like, what is this? This is not what an MMO does. Like, what?
Fair warning, if you end up playing it on Linux, I think you have to skip that cutscene and watch it later.
I'll just play it on Windows. It'll be easier.
That's the only one. It's just that opening cutscene.
I didn't even know it was going to work under Linux.
Oh yeah, I've only played it on Linux.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, it works fantastically, especially if you buy it on Steam. Steam is the easiest way to do it.
Right.
You literally, you just turn on Proton, start it up, you open a config file, you change a 0 to a 1, or a 2 to a 1. Load it up again, open another config file, change a 2 to a 1, and then you're done.
I was sure I read that it was balked, but maybe I'm just blind.
No, it's not.
No, okay, it's gold. Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's almost platinum. If it wasn't for having to change those 2 little config files, it would be platinum.
Huh.
Because you just have to skip the opening movie and change it back to the old style launcher.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other cutscenes work, except for one cutscene when you get to an airship in the A Realm Reborn. For some reason, that cutscene won't play. You'll have to skip it.
Wow, I didn't realize it. That's impressive. Wow. Cool. Sure.
Yeah. And if you don't want to use the Steam version, there's a Lucius install script for a third-party launcher called the XIV launcher. And you can just use that.
I hear that buying the game is confusing.
Yes, it absolutely is. Buy it on Steam.
Like, there's like different versions you can buy, but they're incompatible with each other or something. Like,
if you buy it on Steam, you can play on either the Steam launcher or the standalone launcher. If you buy it standalone, you can only use the standalone launcher. You can't use the Steam launcher. Also, if you buy it on PC, you can't play it on PlayStation. You have to buy it again on PlayStation.
Right. I also
and all the expansions you'd have to buy again.
There was also something about like, if you bought like Endwalker, you wouldn't be able to like get access to the other stuff until Endwalker came out or something.
Yeah, you have to wait for it to release. But if you buy the newest expansion, you get all the previous ones. So like when I bought the game, I went ahead and bought Shadowbringer, so I got everything before then. And then like a month later, they did this free trial. That's become the copy pasta. It was like, oh, I didn't need to buy all these yet. I could have waited.
Every time I hear someone talk about Final Fantasy, the only complaint they ever bring up is that it's hard to give them money. Like, if that is your biggest problem with your game, I think you've got a good game.
Absolutely. It is a fantastic game. Also, another weird quirk about playing on Linux, if you use the standalone launcher, controllers are weird. For some reason, if I play with the standalone launcher, I can sometimes get a controller work, and then sometimes it won't want to work. If I do it through the Steam launcher, it works fine.
I was probably going to play keyboard and mouse anyway.
Yeah. The controller setup for it is actually fantastic.
Okay.
Because if you didn't know, the game initially released on the PlayStation 3.
Right. Yes, it did, didn't it?
It is an MMO that is built around a controller.
Maybe
at least the earlier versions are. The later versions are built with both in mind now, so it's not
right
as problematic. But a lot of the early classes are very easy to play on the controller. Like I only play a white mage.
Yeah.
Healer classes are fantastic on controller because it's so easy. If I did anything else, I would not want to use a controller.
I don't know. I might look into it then. I typically play action RPGs with a controller. Usually Xbox controller, but there's a few exceptions. Like if I'm emulating something on the PS2, because I want my button prompts to make sense, I'll just use my PS4 controller. But like anything else,
definitely,
Xbox.
I would recommend PS4 controller, especially since it has native support for it. You don't need to use Steam inputs.
Yeah, makes sense.
Don't use a Switch controller if you want just an easy out of the box experience, because it'll work, but it'll show you Xbox prompts.
Sure, okay.
Which is not fun, especially for an MMO where your face buttons are your spells.
Am I just imagining something? Aren't the buttons swapped on the Switch compared to the Xbox controller? Yeah.
So if you're listing them, bottom, right, left, top, Xbox is ABXY and Switch is BAYX.
Right. Okay. Yes.
I personally prefer the Switch layout because it's what I grew up with.
I never actually had like a Nintendo or a Xbox console as a kid. I only played PlayStation 2.
My first ever game console was a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, I guess I got a
Game Boy Color.
I got a Nintendo handheld, but I never played like home console.
Yeah, I had a Nintendo Entertainment System. And then I jumped straight to GameCube.
Right.
Yeah, that was a story.
Wait, so how old was the NES when you got it then?
It was used.
Right.
My first game console was a used game console from this store that I don't think they even exist anymore. But my dad got it for me. Because we wanted to play video games now, because we had gotten old enough to where we had an interest in video games. He's like, well, you know what? I know about this one from my older siblings when they were growing up, because I'm a second set of kids, which that's a whole rabbit hole I'm not going to get into. So it's like, well, they liked the Nintendo. Let's get an original Nintendo. And we got it. So we got it. I'm just like, what is this? Everyone was playing with like a Nintendo 64 and stuff and 3D graphics. And then I loaded it up and we started playing the games. I'm just like, oh, this is what Mario came from. Oh, this is cool. And so and to this day, Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Can't say I've ever played it, but I do hear it's very good.
It is so much fun. Never beat it. Never beat it.
I
Even
sadly
in
missed
the
out
original
on a lot of
Mario
those early
Brothers, I've
classics.
never beat. The furthest I've gotten in original Mario Brothers is World 6.
Right.
But it's so anyway, we got that, and then years went by. We never got any new consoles because not a whole lot of money. But then for Christmas we got a GameCube. So we skipped 2 entire generations.
When I got my consoles really late. I got my PS2 in 2004. It was a few years before the PS3 came out, and then I got my PS3.
Same, that's when I got mine.
I got my PS3, I think, like 2 years before the PS4 came out. I always just buy consoles late, or just get given them late if I was a kid.
I didn't have a PS4 until a year ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That was fun.
I think I got mine. There was like a special or something at the time when I bought it, so it was cheaper than it normally would be. But
same. I only have a PS4 Pro because I was given 2 broken PS4s that I then paid to have fixed.
Right.
Sold one of them to my best friend's little brother. The other one I traded into a GameStop for a PS4 Pro.
Wow.
So I got a used PS4 Pro with a major discount because I traded in a PS4.
That's nice.
So I was just like, okay, I came in on top with this one.
At this point, if I was to buy a PS5, it would just be a PS4 emulator anyway. Like, I don't have any PS5 games I want to play.
I mean,
I guess Tales of Arise.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, but that'd be about it. Maybe the new Ratchet and Clank game.
Ah, yeah, that. Okay. I would play that and Tales of Arise, and that's about it.
Tales of Arise, I'd want to get that on PC.
Yeah, I can play on PC anyway. I presume it works perfectly under Proton. I don't see any reason why.
I don't actually know. Let's find out.
I know the other Tales games do. Tales of Arise.
I played Berseria on Proton.
As a platinum rating.
Hey, nice.
Nice. Perfect. Apparently some versions of Proton are having controller issues, but just avoid those versions and you're good.
Oh, Tales of Symphonia is only a gold rating.
Ah, that's sad. I've got Berseria sitting over on my shelf here. I really need to finish Berseria. It's very good.
Berseria is really good. I played it in the jankest way possible because it was before my PC upgrade. Initially, when I was playing it, I could not run it and my VTuber at the same time.
Oh.
I could only do one or the other. So I was trying to play it. I went through the beginning of the game through it, and it was so choppy when I got to the first big city. I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I installed it on my Windows PC and I played it through Remote Play. The upside to playing it on a Windows PC was that I could use a mod to change the Xbox button prompts to PlayStation button prompts.
Ooh.
Which I wish you could do that on Linux.
Wait. I'm sorry, what? It doesn't have PlayStation button prompts on PC?
No, because the PC is a port of the Xbox version. So they didn't add in Xbox button prompt or PlayStation button prompts. It's just Xbox for controller.
It's a JRPG. It's made in Japan. Get it to what? What are you? What?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why. The PC version only has Xbox button prompts.
That's so weird. Sure.
But there's a mod to add it in. It's just the mod is the mod installs through an installer that's only on Windows. I think if you found the files and knew where they went, you could do it manually and get it to work on Linux.
Right.
I just don't know how to get the files by themselves.
Run the installer through Wine. I guess pause.
I tried that. It can't find the installation path.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
The
I
installer, it loads in Wine. It just it
mm,
can't find where the game is installed because it's looking for the Windows install directory, and it's
even if
not
it
there.
even if it could find the path, it probably would be coded around Windows paths, and the slash is backwards on Windows.
Oh no,
So,
in Wine it sees backslashes as forward slashes
okay, so it's just
or forward
okay.
slashes as
Cool.
backslashes.
Cool. Cool. Okay,
Because
that is handling it properly.
if I go through a file picker on a program in Wine, my directory is z/home/ it sees Linux as a Z drive.
At least it works. I don't know why.
Yeah, no. So I mean, it can find it.
I imagine Z is probably like a fallback. Then I actually have never seen that before. Or it has
It
to
was
assign
when
it
I was
some
testing to
label.
see if I could get Photoshop to run in Wine.
I know there's
Which
been some work on getting that actually working.
Photoshop CC 2015 works almost perfectly in Wine, but that is the
Mm.
only one I've ever been able to get working.
Yeah. You look, it's a lot of work. You might as well just if you really need Photoshop, dual boot VM, just do that. Otherwise, like most people, unless you're doing professional
Most
work,
people can get away with GIMP.
you can get away with it. Yeah, I use GIMP. GIMP works fine.
Yeah. GIMP, it's not the same as Photoshop, but it's so similar. It has so many of the same tools that most people can get away with using it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at the end of the day, there's also it's not. It's not actually like an official Adobe thing, but there is a Photoshop clone web client.
Yeah, it's like Photopia or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. That doesn't have everything Photoshop has, but if you really
it's a lot
need
more
like
of it.
yeah, and if you need like the proper support of the Photoshop PSD files, it generally works for that.
Yeah, on GIMP it can like open the layers and that's about it.
That's because GIMP and Photoshop layers work very differently.
Well, it's everything else is done completely differently. It's I think it's the layers are the only similarity they have.
They actually do handle some stuff really weirdly with layers. I know layer grouping works very differently, and that by itself breaks stuff.
Layer clipping is really weird too. I got a PSD file for my VTuber, and it did not clip any of the colors.
Okay.
Luckily, there was a final version that had the outline
Right.
that I could alpha select and then erase all the other layers to where they would be within that what should be clipped.
Oh god.
So saved itself, but yeah.
That's a solution, I guess. Yeah, sure.
It works. If it's stupid, but it works, it's not stupid.
Sure, yep. We'll go with that. Why not?
That's my entire career as a VTuber. It works in the dumbest way possible, but it works.
Look, you gotta have. Look, there's some people who want to do stuff properly, but hey, look, at the end of the day, should be right. You be good. Just let it happen. It is what it is.
And it shall always be that. So what's another tangent we can go on now?
Well,
We're on the video game train.
We can keep going down video games. I've got a DS emulator set up, and I've got a game that you like downloaded.
Oh,
I've got The World Ends With You downloaded, and I want to be playing that soon.
Yes. Because you've got your drawing tablet you can use.
I do. Yes, I have it. Yep, I have it here.
Oh wait, but yours is the one without the screen. Ooh,
Yeah.
you're gonna.
I've gotten used to it.
Well, yeah, because you can see where the mouse is while you're still hovering the pen, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, then you should be able to do fairly well with it. I want to be able to see the screen, which is why I run the World Ends With You if I ran it on an emulator, and Pokemon Ranger. I'd run those on a DS emulator on my tablet, my Android tablet, and then I just screen copy that over to my screen and then plug in an aux cable because headphone jack. Everything should have a headphone jack. Stop getting rid of it, please.
What? Oh, that's another nice thing about buying mid-range phones. They still have headphone jacks.
Yeah, Pixel 3a headphone jack. Because the cheaper one has more features. That makes sense.
Anyway, yes. Tablet, what ends with you? Pokemon Ranger, yes.
Yeah,
When I first started, I booted up the game. I was like, oh, it's one of these games that plays on the fucking bottom screen. Why?
Yeah, this is why I say that you want to have a touchscreen for it.
Mm-hmm. I don't think
technically it plays on both. This is
right.
I say the best way to play the DS version is on an actual DS because of the way it's designed. Your character Neku is on the bottom screen using touch controls, and your partner is on the top screen, and you control them with the D-pad. They have different depending on who you're playing. So when you're playing with your first partner, Shiki, the way they work is that they have cards that appear, and if you select the cards that matches using the D-pad to select which card, so like up will be the center card, left will be the left card, right will be the right card. If you pick the card that matches, she attacks, and the more you get right in a row, the more the combo does damage.
Right.
At the same time, you're fighting on the bottom screen using the touch controls with your other hand.
Okay, this is gonna take a little bit to get used to, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be really weird on an emulator.
I'll make it work.
It's one of those games that they took full advantage of the original hardware, and it's really hard to play it any other way. That's why when they ported it to like phones and to the Switch, they reworked the combat system to work better for a single screen.
Right, okay.
But that's part of the reason why I love the game and why it's one of my favorite games of all time, is because it worked so well for its original platform. It was one of the few games that really took full advantage of the fact that like you have two screens, you have two different input methods. Use them. They're available to you.
What about Brain Age? Brain Age used both screens very well.
Brain Age was... I can't even say anything. I owned Brain Age.
I did as well. That's the worst part about it.
It's one of those games that like you got it and you're just like, why did I get this again?
Exactly. But man, Pokemon Ranger is another really good game.
I love those games. I wish they would make a new one.
We've got Pokemon Snap. Maybe we can get a Ranger.
Maybe. We got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Deluxe, which I wasn't as crazy about, though apparently it is better than I initially gave it credit. I didn't get too far into it before I was just like, this is so weirdly different from the original.
Isn't that a remake of one of them?
It's original. It's a remake of the original Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. Which that was a very weird system because Red Rescue Team was on the Game Boy Advance and Blue Rescue Team was on the DS.
Yeah.
They were released during that time when they were saying, no, the DS is not a replacement for the Game Boy. It's the third pillar. Lo and behold, it replaced the Game Boy.
Wait, was that a thing that was actually being said?
Oh, yes. Go there at E3. What was it? E3 2006, I want to say.
Right.
Reggie Fils-Aimé. That is a direct quote from him.
What?
It's because they were worried the DS was going to flop. So they didn't want to just kill off the Game Boy line in case it did. And then it exploded and they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, no.
Okay, so what they were going to be doing was having like clamshell consoles.
That's why so many games released on both Game Boy and DS for a little bit.
Huh.
But because of that system, if you had both Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team, and you had a DS Lite, you could play both of them infinitely and fail as many times as you want and never have to lose your progress. Because you could send a rescue mail to the game in the other slot and just answer it on that game.
Yep.
And you could just infinitely do that back and forth.
I did own both of them.
I only had Red Rescue Team. I had it on my Game Boy Advance SP, and then I got Explorers of Sky on the DS.
Oh, you got Sky, did you?
Yes.
I played Sky years later. I originally got Time. Yes.
I skipped out. Excuse me. Holy crap. I don't know where that came from. I skipped out on Time and Darkness because poor.
Honestly,
I could not afford to buy games very often.
Sky is basically the Persona 4 Golden of Mystery Dungeon.
That's what I heard, so I was just like, all right, I might as well.
Like they changed some stuff later on, but like up until the end of the game, it's basically the same with extra content in Sky.
Yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. It's probably my favorite from the Mystery Dungeon series.
Mm. I there was another like an actual like extra Mystery Dungeon game that came out on the Switch. I think I watched a Let's Play of it. It wasn't very good.
No,
It
no,
was the 4 Deluxe.
it was on
Was
the
it
Wii. It
3DS?
was a
Oh,
puzzle version.
I
No,
was
no, wait, it was a Mystery Dungeon style. It was the one with the little figurine ones.
no, I don't. I think there was another one in there somewhere. Give me 1 second. I'll check
There were
the
two on
list.
the 3DS. There was Super Mystery Dungeon and Dimension Through Space or something like that. One of which people thought was it's all right. The other one was just like, this is the stupidest gimmick I've ever seen.
Oh, actually, okay. I actually missed a couple of games in here then.
I can't remember which one it was, but one
Mm.
of them, in order to go into a dungeon, you had to point the 3DS camera at a circle in reality.
What?
Any circle. It could be any circle. It just had to be a circle.
Stop. Stop it. Stop.
And everyone is just like, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Console cameras work in some like don't look for something in the real world, but if you like if it's a game where like you're a photographer or something, you're like moving around the Switch or whatever console it is.
They were just trying to haphazardly throw the 3DS's AR capabilities in there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like stop.
Which the 3DS's AR with the AR cards, that was super cool. That was fun to mess around with. Should not have gone any further. They should have just been like, here's a fun little gimmick that came with your game. Play with it on your 3DS in the camera app.
Like Nintendo does make like cool stuff like that though. Like they'll just like throw something at the wall. Like, is this gonna work? No. Okay, we got a lot of money. It doesn't matter.
They are. Have you ever watched Arlo?
Arlo. No.
He is a YouTuber who is a blue little Muppet monster guy.
Sure.
And he has coined the phrase that Nintendo are the king of left field.
Sure, okay.
Because everything they do is just like, well, that came out of left field.
Yeah, that works.
I mean, think about it. We're releasing our new home console. Oh, wow. Also, it's a portable you can take with you. Wait, what?
If I was to... I don't own a Switch, but if I was to own a Switch, I probably would never use it as a home console. Like, I would always just use it as a handheld.
I use both. The only way to capture from a Switch is to have it as a home console.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Which is how I now mostly play my games. But I love handheld gaming so much.
I haven't owned a handheld in a really long time though. Like I play games
never
on my phone sometimes, I guess, but
yeah, if you never plan to ever stream Switch games or Nintendo games ever in your entire life, you can buy a Switch Lite, which is only a handheld.
Right, I would want to stream stuff at some point though.
Yeah, at that point you need to get an original Switch, which you can't see it, but my Switch has custom Joy-Cons.
Ooh, nice.
I did a shell swap and they're clear.
That's pretty cool.
Not colored clear, just plain clear, so you can see all the circuit boards and stuff. It's so cool. I love it.
I think that does look cool. It's just not my thing. I don't really like the clear sort of the style. I
love clear electronics. Where you can see all the circuitry and stuff in it. The hard part for those is making it to where the electronics look pretty inside the clear casing. Because if you've got like metal plates on top of everything and you put it clear, well, then it's basically just silver at that point.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh yeah, I'm looking at I'll send it to you. Someone made a clear shell for the Xbox One controller, but like it's not that impressive looking.
Oh.
It's just just plate.
Yeah, see, that doesn't look very good. Because it's got that black plastic on top of all the electronics.
Yeah. I'm sure that like if it's designed oh okay, actually I guess in some cases like I'll see if you I don't know if you can see it.
Like if you look up the clear PS4 controller, which is an official controller from Sony.
These earphones have like a clear shell. You probably can't see it too well. It's like a I guess it's a yellowed clear plastic, but you can if
oh yeah, but those are IEMs.
Yeah.
Those are it doesn't matter what they look like because they're meant to just
Right, but like
function
some people,
super well.
look, some people like the look of having certain earphones in there. It's like people buy like AirPods as a fashion statement.
Yeah, like I went to a concert. I saw Nathan Sharp, Nate Wants to Battle, in concert. His in-ear monitors were green because his favorite color is green.
Sure.
No one's gonna actually notice that. I only happened to see it because the side of his face was turned to me while he was talking to someone. I just happened to notice it.
Mm-hmm. But you're talking about a clear PlayStation controller
Yeah, there's an official clear PlayStation controller.
for which console?
PS4.
Oh, I didn't know that. PS4 clear controller.
Yeah, they're like $70 because those things have gotten so expensive now. But see, that looks really good because you can see like the gear motors. There's nothing covering the electronics. Or the rumble motors, I should say, not gear motors.
Oh,
Gear
yeah, I
motors?
see it. Okay. Yeah, that does look pretty cool. Ooh.
Yeah, you have to be very smart with clear electronics. You have to make sure that you can actually see the cool components and stuff, and they're not just covered by something else.
Yeah, I actually do like that. I don't know.
If it's done right, it's very tasteful.
Maybe I'm just boring. My go-to is usually white controllers when they're available. Oh god, I'm gonna drop it.
I will not do white anymore. I got my DS Lite and my DSi in white, and they're like covered in like orange and yellow from Cheetos and stuff now. I'm just like, well, nope, not doing this anymore.
Just clean your controllers then.
I was a freaking like 12-year-old kid.
Sure, there's no excuse now.
No excuse now, no. But I'm just to the point of just like, if I'm eating something, well, I guess I'm not playing video games. I'm eating something.
Yeah, I usually just watch some anime when I'm eating something.
However, my 8-bit Do controller, which has become my go-to PC controller for now, is the PlayStation 1 Gray.
Ooh, okay.
And it's got the same coloring, though it's on the different places because I think that color configuration might be copyrighted. So, like, it's using the Nintendo button layout, but it's the symmetrical stick layout like PlayStation controllers do. So, like,
okay.
now that I've told you where those button placements are, the B is red, the A is green, the X is pink, and the Y is blue.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
I wish that the colors were in their proper places so I could just look at the colors for if I'm playing like a PlayStation game. I can just see blue is X.
Right.
Even though I know the PlayStation placements by heart, so it's not that big a deal. I play Yakuza with this controller and I use PlayStation prompts on it. Which, Yakuza Like a Dragon has this really weird quirk. It tells you when you start the game up, real Yakuza play with a gamepad. Yet, if you are not constantly giving it a controller input, it goes back to PC prompts. As soon as you give it an input, it goes back to whatever controller you're using.
Sure, okay. I've seen
I
games
don't know
like
why.
this. If you like touch your mouse or something, they'll swap to like the mouse and keyboard inputs, but I've never seen
that's
swap
fine.
for no reason.
That's what GTA does, and I'm fine with that. Yakuza, if it's not getting a controller input, it defaults to PC prompts.
Oh, that actually reminds me. So I'm playing through S8 right now, and it has like a setting to like change between like Xbox, PlayStation, or just generic input, like button prompts. But it will automatically change if you start pressing something else. So like, there's no reason to use the setting. The setting does not work.
I wish every game had a setting where you can just tell it what button prompts you want, and it would just stay that.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Or you could set it to be like smart input, where it detects which one you're using. Which is probably what I'd use for GTA, because I like to do the driving and stuff with a controller, but I'll actually do the shooting and stuff with mouse and keyboard.
Actually, what would be nice is it would be nice to like be able to customize the button prompt. Like if you have, you have a set of like A, B, X, Y. Like most like controllers will have those if they're like just generic controllers, but sometimes they'll be in a different order.
Generically default to like the Xbox layout for some reason.
But like it would be nice if you could like, if you have a Switch controller that doesn't have Switch input, just be able to swap those prompts around. That would be lovely.
That would be really nice. What I can do with this 8-bit Do controller is I can remap when it's in X input mode. It has software on my phone where I can remap the buttons. And so it can have up to 3 presets. I have a preset where my A, B, X, Y are flipped.
Okay.
So as long as it doesn't show the button in the diamond formation with the right prompt, then I can just flip the inputs and there's no difference.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
And to go all the way back around
Yes.
to Final Fantasy,
Sure. Okay.
I installed a mod to Final Fantasy to give me switch button prompts.
Woo.
Which it's a pain in the ass to install because you have to download a file, you have to run a terminal application, and then from that terminal application, you have to find the directory path to that file you downloaded, set it to the correct installation path in that terminal program, and it's not fun. If you're like me and you get lost of where you are when you're using a terminal to find stuff, it's not a fun time. And I did all that, and I've been playing with this for a while, and I kind of want to go back to the DualShock.
What out of the Xbox, I guess Series X and Xbox One are the same controller. So out of the Xbox One, PS4, and the Switch controller, which one do you like? I presume you haven't held a PS5 controller.
PS4.
Okay, PS4?
I want symmetrical sticks.
Sure, okay.
That's literally all I care about.
When I first saw the Xbox controller, when I was like only playing on PlayStation, I thought I would hate like having offset sticks. And I'm sure
I
as
don't
a
hate
kid,
it. I think it's super comfortable. It's just
I'm sure
muscle memory. My muscle memory has
fair.
grown up with symmetrical stick for 3D games.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I got used to it. I started using the Xbox controller for a very long time. I prefer it now.
I could absolutely use it without a problem.
My problem with the PS4 controller is it feels just a tad too small.
You would like the DualSense then, because the DualSense is a little bigger.
I want to try out a PS5 controller. Like the PS5 controller is around the same size as an Xbox controller, but it still has the symmetrical sticks.
Yeah. The 8-bit controller feels like, imagine if you took a Super Nintendo controller and you added handles to it.
Okay.
And that's what it feels like. Like literally, if you took away the handles, the sticks, and the L2, R2, it would be a Super Nintendo controller.
I've got the website open right now. That does look pretty cool.
It's very comfortable for like platformers and stuff. If you're playing a 2D game, this is my controller I go for.
Oh, it has
because it just feels like a more comfortable Super Nintendo controller.
It has back buttons as well.
Yeah, the back triggers, they kind of suck.
Okay.
They're a little too easy to press.
Right.
Although they're automatically mapped to be turbo and stuff when you're on Switch mode, so you need to go into the software and turn them off. It's only on Switch mode that they're pre-mapped. None of the other modes are pre-mapped. I don't know why. Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing I didn't like. I got it because I wanted to set these as macros for an extra hotbar in Final Fantasy XIV. When you're playing on controller, you access your spells by either holding down R2 or L2 and then pressing either a direction on the D-pad or a face button.
Oh, okay. So I wondered how they managed to fit all of the Final Fantasy inputs onto a controller. Yeah. That explains why.
And then they have a second hotbar you can set up, which is your 8th set of hotbars that you can access by double tapping L2 or R2 and doing the same thing. It works actually really well.
I'm less likely to believe you that this is a good input system. This seems like they've crammed a PC MMO onto a controller.
I mean, that's what they did, but they had to think about it as controller is the only option we have. What's the best way to do this?
That makes sense, because otherwise you're going to go down the route that a lot of JRPGs go, where they have 4 abilities and that's it. And that doesn't work for an MMO. Like Diablo 3.
This has actually the best layout I've ever seen to play an MMO with a controller. Any other input I've seen, it's been just like pages of 4 or 5 skills. And it's just not fun. Targeting is a little bit of a pain on controller the way it works until you get like really used to quick target and untarget, which I'm still not, which is why I main a healer, because I can focus on healing and just use the D-pad to swap between who's in my party and just choose who to heal. So for a healer, this is the perfect layout. I would much rather play a healer with this layout than I would keyboard and mouse.
Okay.
But what I wanted to do with the back triggers was I wanted to set them to be double click and hold L2 and double click and hold R2.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I didn't know is that macros don't let you input other inputs while they're running.
Right. Okay.
I didn't know that. So I set it up to be what I wanted, the double tap and hold, but I couldn't hit the face buttons to activate the spells.
Right.
And I was just like, no, I was going to use them as extra trigger buttons and shit.
That would have made it much better then. Like
that would have been great. So I could hold L2 or I could hold L4. Or actually, they're labeled as P1 and P2. Paddle 1, paddle 2.
Yeah. I'm happy to see like paddles actually becoming a thing on more controllers, because there was that whole debacle with
if these paddles were a little bit more stiff and a little bit harder to press, I would actually use them more often. Right now, it's just too easy to accidentally click them just from grabbing the controller.
Because remember back in the early days of the PS3 and 360, the reason why no one else did it is because Scuff had a copyright on that design, and the only way
and then PS4 came and Xbox One came along, and I think the biggest player now is AIM.
Well, I believe that with the initial Elite controller, they actually licensed it from Scuff.
Oh, did they?
I believe so. That might have changed now.
Because I know, like, the big one right now everyone's blowing up over is AIM, and I don't know if they've surpassed Scuff yet, but I think they're pretty close.
I am so out of the loop on console esports.
I see ads for them all the time.
Right.
I see more ads for AIM controllers than I do Scuff controllers now, and I don't know why, because I've never had an interest in either one of them.
I just stick with the first party controller for the most part.
Same. That's all I do. It's like, why are you trying to sell me on these 4 back triggers for competitive FPS games? I don't play FPS games. I've never played FPS games. Stop trying to sell me FPS games.
But what if they sell you on macros for Final Fantasy?
You make a convincing argument, Fry.
Yeah. What was I saying? I don't know. Something about I like the back triggers. They're cool. I like them as an option.
Yeah, I like that they're an option. I just wish on this controller itself they were a little bit stiffer.
Yeah.
So that I wouldn't accidentally click them as much.
I was gonna say. Oh, right. I remember what I was gonna say now. I need to ask you something. Why do you play a healer? What's fun about a healer? I don't understand.
I like support classes.
Okay, I don't understand. You need to explain this to me. Why do you like support classes?
I love healing classes. Even if I'm playing, I play Dungeons and Dragons every week, my go-to class is Cleric. I like being the support.
I need to understand why. I don't understand.
Because I like being the one who does the setup for someone else to do this crazy wombo combo that I just go like, oh yeah, you think I'm not a threat? It shouldn't be me you're watching out for. It's my buddy over here.
I like being the buddy. The buddy is the fun one.
Also, the fact that because I have very poor muscle memory, because I take week-long breaks in between playing Final Fantasy, White Mage is a class where you can misclick and fuck up, and you're still are doing more healing than you need to.
Right. So you would lose your button rotation basically.
Right. So as a White Mage, I can screw up what I'm doing and hit the wrong thing, and I'm still ahead.
Okay.
Because it's such a massive amount of healing I can do.
Well, I guess until you go and do the really high level content, you start doing ultimates.
Yeah, the high level stuff like Savage level dungeons, I will need to learn how to heal and damage at the same time.
Yeah.
Which I cannot wrap my head around. I can barely wrap my head around doing one or the other. I'm not good at muscle memory. I don't like MMO combat. Right, okay. Which is why I mainly stick to healing, so I can just stick in the back and just make sure everyone's got health and I've debuffed I've undone any negative buffs.
That's fair. That's fair.
And right now all I do really is dungeon runs. if I start getting better, I can start doing boss raids with people.
Mm.
And the upside to being a healer is I never have to wait on a party.
That is
because
one
no
of the
one's
things.
a healer, so everyone's looking for one.
That is one of the things I hear is nice about being a healer.
It's like, all right, party up. All right, I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
My ideal party in Final Fantasy is the light party that you do with only 4 people, which is a healer, 2 DPS, and a tank. So the tank just runs into the midst of stuff and aggroes everyone to them. The DPS are at a distance, or they're also engaged doing a bunch of damage, and the healer's just in the back making sure that the tank doesn't die.
Right, that's fair. And
and that's all I have to do is just sit there. I just hit cure 1, cure 1, cure 1, cure 1. Ooh, free cure 2. Cure 1, cure 1, cure 1, cure 1. Ooh, free cure 2. And
maybe
get
just
rid
have
of
like
debuffs.
a dumb monkey brain, but I like DPS. DPS is fun. I like seeing big numbers.
You would actually, I think you'd like tank more.
Mm?
Because your sole purpose is just to run in and press attack.
That does sound fun, actually. Yeah.
Your sole purpose is to run in, press attack, and press the button to make them attack you.
Look, at the end of the day, what I would do is this is the reason why I can't play Final Fantasy. I've wanted to though. This is the reason why I can't. It has the same problem that RuneScape has, which is that you can change. You can just do different. You're not a class. You're like a single class. You can change it. You can do other shit.
Job system.
And you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna max out every single one of them. That's what's gonna happen.
I have 2 friends who have done that. The friend that got me into playing Final Fantasy was the one who started way back on the PS3. She's maxed out every single class. My fellow VTuber friend, Corvi, Constellation Corvi, who I played D&D with for a bit, they also maxed every single class. Which, the current maximum is level 80 for every class, except one. I think one of them's level 70.
Right.
And with the new expansion coming out, all the maximum is going to be raised by 10. So it's going to be level 90 for everything except that one class, which will then be 80. Or maybe they'll all be 90. I'm not certain. Maybe they'll bump that one up 20 levels.
That's where you have a class,
including the new classes they're adding. They're adding 2 or 3 new classes.
Right.
Which will also be maxed at level 90.
Well, I have another important question. What race do you play?
The generic human.
Okay.
Whatever they call the generic human.
Yeah, okay. I know they have stupid fantasy names.
My VTuber design is loosely based off my Final Fantasy character.
Right, okay. Look, the game has cat girls in it, so
the game also has lizard girls in it.
It has look, it's a difficult choice.
The new expansion is gonna have bunny people.
I'm aware. I'm very aware of the bunny girls and the expansion.
Oh yeah.
But if I do play it, I'm probably not. I probably wouldn't stream main story content because there's a lot of nothing that there's a lot of cutscenes, and cutscenes would not. I would have to ignore the cutscenes for a stream, and that I don't think really makes for the best experience. If I was gonna stream, it would be dungeon stuff or raids.
Meanwhile, I am streaming exclusively games with long cutscenes for that very reason of the cutscenes.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, there's some exceptions with that, but I hear the Final Fantasy XIV story is fairly good.
A Realm Reborn is apparently the worst story of the entire game, and I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I keep hearing this from people, but from what it sounds like, it's the worst part compared. It's a 9, but everything else is a 10. That's what it sounds like to me.
I heard that more like it's an 8 and everything after that is a 9 or a 10.
Sure, okay. I think
so it's not the best story in the game. It's still a good story.
I played through all of Crystar, where your best friend turns into a fucking boss and tries to kill you. Don't question the story. I can play through shit stories.
What?
Yeah. So, I'm going to talk Crystar for a bit. So, Crystar is a game where you're basically I guess you're not a Reaper. You're going through effectively the underworld, trying to defeat evil souls. and make them go and be reborn. And at one point, you run into your best friend, and she blames you for the bus accident she was in. And usually when, like, in the boss fight, they'll turn to, like, something related to, like, whatever their massive trauma is. So one of the bosses was, like, I think he was trapped in solitary confinement in a prison, and for, like, after eating people or something, I don't fucking know. And he turned, like, this big man-eating plant. And your best friend, she was in the bus accident, and she turns into a bus. It's just like...
And I thought the penis shadow from Persona was weird.
Wait, what?
Oh, do you not know about this?
I might, but not ringing a bell.
Look up Persona 5 penis shadow.
My God. Oh. What is this thing? I don't recall that one.
It's supposed to represent a spirit of lust. I think they got that right.
Yeah, they definitely... Oh my God. Yeah, that works, I guess.
I think its name is like the name for lust in another language that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Wait. Wait, I'm looking at the Shin Megami Tensei wiki.
Yeah.
Yep. It is called in P5 the Throbbing King of Desire.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The Throbbing King of Desire.
They knew exactly.
Apparently,
what
it's
they
from
designed.
Buddhist and Sri Lankan mythology. Sure.
That doesn't surprise me. Wait. No way. I'm thinking Hinduism is the one that has like literally tens of thousands of deities, isn't it?
Probably, yes.
That's the one that I can't wrap my head around of just how that works. It was explained to me that like apparently each household picks a specific one from the selection, and that's how like it works. Each household has a different main one they focus on, which I guess you kind of have to when you have that many deities in your religion.
I genuinely don't know about that, but man, this
I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's one of those things that's like the more I hear about it, the more I'm just like, this is so different from how I grew up.
And also dick gods.
Yeah, no, apparently that's a thing.
Yeah. JRPGs are fucking weird.
JRPGs are very weird, and I love them.
I mentioned before I'm playing through IS-8. I've been talking about this game a lot, but for the first, like, 30 hours, it's fairly... There's going to be spoilers for IS-8. First 30 hours, it's fairly normal. It's like... It's actually not even really JRPG. Like, the game starts off... Yeah, it starts off with you being in a shipwreck, and basically you're trying to, like, rebuild... You're trying to, like, find all the people who are on the shipwreck and, like, build up a village of castaways. And your entire goal is to escape the island. It's fairly grounded.
That's still really interesting, though.
It is. Then there are dinosaurs.
And that's where shit gets weird.
Well, okay, there's dinosaurs at the start of the game, but you just assume, oh, these are just like whatever the monsters are in this. No, they're literally dinosaurs. Like, there's a...
Oh.
So, they're called Saurons or something in this.
Okay.
But they were... There comes a point of the story where... you find out that all of these Saurons went extinct because of a meteorite. So they're literally just dinosaurs.
God, they're literally dinosaurs.
Yeah. But then there's another part of the story where they're like, fuck it, time travel now. So the main, or the, I guess, second girl, her name is Dana. She's from
It's
like years...
Lacrimosa of Dana?
Lacrimosa of Dana, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's $60. I can't buy that right now.
It goes on special occasionally, but
yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for it to go on sale if I ever want to get it.
So she's like from years in the past, but like the main character Adel, for some reason, can like communicate with her in the past, and like the past and the present like happening at the same time or something. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Eventually, though, do you want spoilers for this? Because I'm gonna say some really.
Because I'm gonna end up playing it. This is a
Okay.
game that I've been meaning to get into for a
Right.
while now.
Okay, I won't say the really big spoilers, but there's time travel and there's dinosaurs, and it gets that if that's where it stopped, I would have been like, sure. Then it's like, hey, remember a JRPG? It's like, do you know how every JRPG ends? Ends with killing God. So we're gonna somehow segue into killing God. Somehow we're gonna do it, but you don't understand how it's gonna happen. You just pulled it out of fucking nowhere. Yes.
Is the character from Years 7 the same as the character from Years 8?
Yes, the main character is the same. So the idea with the Year series is all of the games are actually basically retelling of Adol's diary. So he goes on, like, I think 50 years of adventures or something, and basically each game is like one of his diaries.
So they're all a series. I need to play all of them.
They're same main character. There's no like story connection between them, with the exception of 1 and 2, which are 2 is basically an expansion pack for 1.
Oh, okay.
They're all disconnected stories with the same main character. There's like occasionally there'll be some returning characters. Like in 8, very close to the end of the game, the princess from I think it's Journeys of Celceta. Like she's on the ship for some reason and it's just like, hey, hi Adol, do you remember me? So I'm here now. I was like, okay, hi, welcome. But apart from that, also your main.
Do you play it on PC?
I'm playing on PC, yes.
Okay, so it works in Proton?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Some versions of Proton, the controller does not work. By not work, I mean it functions, but it thinks that you're constantly holding the stick to the left.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah. So you can't do anything about that. It just doesn't work. But
what version do you run?
I think I'm running the latest version of GE.
Okay, I have that, I think, because I have Proton up now.
Proton's a great program.
Yeah,
yeah.
I wanted to do a video on that thing that you made a video on, the gamer installing things, and I never got around to it.
I've got a video on Proton upcoming soon as well.
Ooh, yay.
I really like it. Like, ever since I found that, like, that's a really cool program.
I just found out that the channel Linux for Everything has a series called Will It Linux where he tests if games run well on Proton or not, which was like, oh, I wanted to do that.
That is basically Hex DSL's entire channel.
Well, dang.
It's not a new concept. Like, Hex started.
I knew it wasn't, but I was just hoping there wasn't any like big channels that had thought to do it yet. I was like, oh, nope. There are quite a few.
Yeah, I think Hex started it back before Proton was even a thing. So you've been doing it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
It's like back when you have to like configure Wine to get it to work.
I'm glad I missed out on that.
4 days ago, you uploaded a video about PGA Tour 2K20. Why the fuck is he playing a golf game? A terrible way to spend actual money, almost as bad as real golf. I don't like sports games. I'll play most games, but sports games are not my thing.
But what about the Mario sports games?
That's an exception.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll accept that.
I was about to say Mario Strikers on the GameCube.
What about Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games?
Those are fun, but they're just mini game collections at the end of the day.
Basically. Where's our new one? We need a new one.
Didn't they just make one?
Did they? Did they make one for the new Olympics? I don't know. I went onto my radar if they did.
I feel like they ported the Wii U one to the Switch is what they did.
Oh, wait, there's one for the 2020 Olympics.
Yeah, okay, so I wasn't crazy. I thought that was a port. It's not a port.
It's probably the same. Look, it's the Olympics. It's going to be the same sports. It effectively is a port.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, to introduce new sports in the Olympics? Like, that's not how it works.
But it has given us some great Sonic lore.
I think my favorite... My favorite thing for the Olympics, apparently I think it was a closing ceremony. They played they had an orchestra doing the Demon Slayer opening.
I heard about that. I haven't actually seen the video though.
It's like, sure, Japan, sure. Why
'Cause
not?
I don't watch the Olympics. I don't watch sports at all.
I didn't care. The only thing I cared about for the 2020 Olympics was the opening and ending ceremonies. I just wanted to see what Japan was going to do. And, you
I
know,
find it
Demon Slayer, I'll
hilarious
take it.
that their prime minister jumped out of a Mario pipe with a Mario cap. That was great.
Oh, I missed that.
That was when they first announced it.
Oh, okay. Right.
That was great. And then they proceeded to not do any Nintendo music. They did the main music they did was Square Enix.
Yeah.
Which
Look,
I'm down for it. They
I'm
have
not complaining about
fantastic music.
Mm.
But the announcement was Mario. I expected Nintendo stuff.
No, I wanted them to look, they can take the absolute piss and just play like the Sword Art Online opening.
You know that opening's a banger though.
It is. Oh, have you seen the new trailer for the Progressive movie?
There's a new Progressive movie?
Yeah, the Progressive movie is coming out soon-ish.
God, I'm gonna. Why do I keep watching Sword Art Online shit? It's not good.
No, it's good. Stop lying to yourself. You know you like it.
No, it's an absolute dumpster fire, but I just can't look away.
I genuinely adore Sword Art Online. Like I unironically enjoy it. It's really good.
For me, it is one of those guilty pleasure shows that just I know it's bad, but I'm gonna keep watching it.
There are parts of SAO that are not good. Like the what was it? What's it called? The Alfheim section, Fairy Dance for the light novel. Sure. Okay, Leaf is a fairly boring character. But like Gungale's fun. And Alicization. Great.
The first half of Alicization was great. The second half just got fucking weird.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
Like, when I finished watching the second half of Alicization, I just sat here like, did Studio Trigger make this?
That's not a bad thing.
It was that same level of just, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
But without the crazy animation, it was just the same concepts done in just a generic anime style.
Yeah, I feel like the first half of Alicization was absolutely amazing. Like, up until the War of the Underworld, like, Alicization was fantastic.
I think honestly the main issue with Sword Art Online is just when Kirito and Asuda are together, they just become the most boring characters. When they're separated, they're interesting. And then the second they get back together, they just go back to being super boring.
I really hate that every time SEO like gets a good male character, like Klein, the bar dude, what the hell is his name? Or
Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany. Sure, we'll go with the abridged version.
Go with the abridged names.
Or Yu-Gi-Oh. All of the male characters.
Oh my god, Yu-Gi-Oh is my favorite character from the series.
Absolutely, yeah, he's best character in the series.
Spoiler alert, he's dead.
Yeah. Well, he's not. Look, he's not dead if you go play the games because the games have alt canon.
Oh god, I don't even want to get into that.
Everybody is alive in the games. Yuki alive.
I read
Yu-Gi-Oh alive.
The light novels. After the first season of the anime, I read the light novels all the way through the first half of Alicization.
Yeah.
Like back in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then they stopped doing fan translations because they started to get official English releases.
Yep.
So it's just like, oh crap. Well, I need to get official English releases, but I've got to wait for them to catch up. And then I forgot about them, and then they made the anime. I was like, okay, I'll just watch the anime.
Exact same boat for me. I stopped reading Alicization. I think the first chapter of War of the Underworld was being translated, and that's about it.
It was just before. The last thing I read was Kirito getting to the terminal and contacting the people outside.
Ah, yep. Okay, that makes sense.
So right after Yu-Gi-Oh's death is where I left off in the light novels.
Mm-hmm. Why? It's just why kill off Yu-Gi-Oh?
Well, I mean, I'm glad that he stayed dead though, because oh my god, Sword Art Online did something with consequences. Don't bring in the alt canon.
What a What a nice
No.
world to be living in that you think that's the case. You watched the ending of War of the Underworld, didn't you?
Where they went back in, but it's like the future and their spaceships. That
Yeah,
was
and
the part
also
that made me go like, did I just step into a Trigger anime?
and also Ronia and whatever her face are both their descendants, but they look exactly the same and have the same voice.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's just like,
yeah.
fuck?
There's it's not confirmed at this point, but there is a character that he wears a mask and has the same hair as Yu-Gi-Oh, looks a lot like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's probably Yu-Gi-Oh.
God damn it. Or some by miraculous descendant out just like, he somehow got his lover pregnant who wasn't dead, but also was, except they weren't.
Look, okay. When the first season of the anime and of the light novel has Kirito literally willing himself past admin privileges, anything's possible.
In the words of SAO Bridge, this is what happens when you have a pissed off nerd with admin privileges.
God, I love SAO, but it's not good. It's not good.
It's not good, but again, guilty pleasure. I know it's bad, but I'm gonna keep watching it.
We've just gone past the 2-hour mark.
Oh boy.
So I think it's as good a time as any to end off the show.
I wanted to go off on one more tangent since we got on anime.
We can go on another tangent. I don't have to end right now.
I have one more tangent. Speaking about guilty pleasure anime, I read the entirety of Domestic Girlfriend as it released.
Uh-huh. I've seen pictures of stuff later, and I don't know much about it. I've watched the
first
anime. That's
time
about it.
a piece of media gave me proper whiplash after reading it.
Why? Why did you do that?
Because it's great. It's a legitimately good story up until like the last 5 chapters where I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Because it doesn't do a 180. It does a full 720. Because it went in the other direction, but it did a 360 in the middle of it.
Look, maybe I'll read it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't read much manga right now, but maybe.
I watched, do you know Giguk?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, his review of it was, yeah, Grant. So Garnt's essentially, the way he described it was that it is a dumpster fire that evolves into a car crash that evolves into a train wreck. And you're just sitting here like, I don't know how you can make this any worse. Oh, wow, that's how. It's just like, I have to see how they one-up this.
I think... Look, okay. There is a series that I've read that is like that is just as dumb. I recommend it. It's very good. Go read Nozokiana. It's the name is Peephole. It's about a dude who has a peephole in his house, and like the girl next door also uses the peephole. It's a really fucking weird series. Oh no! But like they start dating at some point, then evolves into like a harem. Then there's like a fight over the harem. Then one of the girls like it's crazy shit starts happening. But
I mean, if it has a harem, I'm gonna enjoy it.
You know what? Maybe I'll read it.
I'm
I've read
currently
a manga like start to end for a long ass time, so it'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm currently reading Rent-A-Girlfriend.
I need to watch the anime for that.
Yeah, that is fantastic. It's legitimately good.
It came out during a period where I was very busy with uni stuff and just didn't get around to watching it.
Fair enough. It's really good. The protagonist has that same issue that every harem protagonist has, but all the girls in the harem, quote unquote, make up for it of just being super well written. They are so well written. The main girl, Chizuru, feels like an actual person with depth.
Wow, an anime character with depth.
That's crazy. I know, it's weird. It's just a really well written, emotionally charged story. And it's like, this would be like a god tier work of art if this main character wasn't a piece of shit. I mean, he goes from being a piece of shit to just being just the general dumbass of just like, you fucking idiot.
Speaking of pieces of shit, though,
oh no, what are you grabbing?
do you know what's also a very good series?
What?
Yeah, my earphones came out. There we go. You're gonna focus? Focus on it, damn it. Why are you not focusing?
Mushoku Tensei.
What the fuck is it not focusing? Mate. Why is my camera
Mushoku Tensei.
Mushoku Tensei. Jobless Reincarnation. Very good series. Highly recommend it. Main character
that sounds like a good one.
Main character is genuinely a piece of shit. Oh, now it's just not focusing on my face either.
Everyone is telling me to watch Redo of a Healer.
Do it. Do it.
I know I should.
Do it.
It's everything that's described to me. It's just like, this sounds fantastic. And there's an uncensored version?
Yes, there is. There was an uncensored version when it was airing.
I don't know where to watch the uncensored version, because I think Verve and Crunchyroll and all that, they have the semi-censored version.
Yeah.
Not the fully uncensored, but not the fully censored either.
Not the, we're going to put black boxes on everything.
Yeah, it's the one where, in all the, like, lewd scenes, they do the convenient pan over to the shadows sort of thing.
Oh, okay, yep.
But, like, it'll still show quite a bit. It just won't quite show everything.
I acquire anime through other means, so you can find the uncensored version very easily.
I know I can find it. I probably should. I like using official streaming service because they've started looking at streaming numbers to know if shows get other seasons.
Right, that's fair. Well, that's
so
why.
It's like, ooh, I want to put my vote in for this to get more.
That's why I buy source material.
I think that's why lately we've been getting so many more seasons of shows like, for example, oh my god, Overlord. I couldn't remember the name for a second. That's why we're getting a 4th season. This is a show that, like, a couple years ago, we would have gotten 1 season and that's it.
Absolutely, yeah. I need to buy the light novel for that one. Like, I really like Overlord.
It's so good. Because it's a protagonist who's evil and just kind of stays evil. He'll have flashes back to being good, but then it'll remind him, no, you're the bad guy now.
There was one part that wasn't good. There was the, there was a section where there was a bunch of like big tentacle-y monsters. There was supposed to be like thousands of them. I think it was in like the later season. Wait, let's see if I can find it.
I think I know what you're talking about. That was during one of the really big battles, wasn't it?
Okay, it was supposed to be a big battle. Yeah, here we go. In the light novel, there was supposed to be like hundreds of these things.
Yeah, I remember this scene. This is
but
the
like
scene where he had
you made them CG and you just didn't put hundreds of them. Like, sure, okay. Like all you did was copy and paste them. Oh, it's on Gun's Twitter. Yeah, and they didn't look great either.
They didn't look terrible though. I've seen much worse CG in anime.
Yeah, well, have you watched the original Fate Stay Night?
Not the original, no. I watched Ultimate Blade Works.
You've not seen the Cum
or
Dragon.
Unlimited Blade Works.
So no Cum Dragon for you. Okay, that's sad.
I have it saved on Verve to watch. I just never got around to it.
Why would you have it saved? Don't.
You saved yourself. Don't do it.
Look, the only thing you need to watch is Cum Dragon. That's the only part. Do you know the scene I'm talking about? Or you just have no idea what I'm saying right now?
No, but the fact that it's called that makes me very curious.
Okay, so you know the Fate Stay Night is an eroge, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the original anime decided to adapt some of the eroge scenes, but obviously, you know, it's TV anime, they can't adapt. I think it was gonna be Saber and Shiro fucking. It was to do some mana transfer, whatever. Sure.
Oh, that's right. The first Fate Stay Night was the Saber Path.
Yes. I think Rin was going. I think it was going to be a threesome. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Because they can't animate that, they instead replaced the mana transfer with like a metaphor of like a dragon entering like this mystical realm. Which is supposed to like symbol. It's supposed to symbolize. It's supposed to symbolize nut.
It's like, to go back to SAO Bridge. So you're gonna invite him over, show him his magic sword, your cave of dragons, your cave of wonders. Have him do battle with the dragon within. What's the dragon in this metaphor? Chlamydia.
Oh, here we go. I found the picture.
I love a Bridge series so much.
Oh,
There's
they're great.
so many. I'm kind of sad it's died off now for the most part.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of DMCA stuff because of that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Come Dragon. It wasn't good CGI for 2006 either. Like it might look bad there. It's so much worse in animation.
Oh no.
This was still during the time when they would animate, or they would have the 2D animation running at 24 FPS and then the 3D running at 30, and it just does not work together.
Oh,
Like, it doesn't seem like much of a difference, but like it's very noticeable.
Yeah, when you see one animated smoother than the other, it's very noticeable. I think like the biggest thing because I've been watching One Piece, and I've been noticing the way they animated like these later arcs was they animated everything 24 FPS and it's fine, but anytime the camera moves, it's moving at 60 FPS.
Right, so they use CG backgrounds.
And you're just like, this is weird. Because all the characters are talking and they're moving at 24 in standard, but the camera is panning at 60 FPS because they just did the one scene and just digitally moved the camera.
Right,
but they didn't move it at the same frame rate.
It seems like a lot of animation studios are getting better at this now. They've finally realized to match the frame rate, but yeah, when it was first done, introduced, it's a fucking mess. I guess some studios still do it.
I mean, it's not the later arcs, all of them. It's I've just finished Vegapunk or Punk Hazard. It's the arc immediately after that I'm really noticing it.
Fuck, what arc is it? I've read most of One Piece as of 5 years ago, but
the villain is Don Flamingo.
Oh, okay. Yep, I know where you are then.
I just started that. I'm only a few episodes into that arc.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm really noticing it. It's like, ooh, this is weird.
I don't know what arc. I think it was called like Whole Cake or something. I don't know. Way later than where you are.
Probably. But I think once I catch up in the anime, because I'm skipping through the filler arcs and stuff, I'm gonna jump over to the manga. I really just want to see the Wano arc animated because I hear it's really good animation.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, there's so many things that I read that I'm just like, why am I reading this? I read all of Citrus.
Ooh. Okay, you have...
When I heard about this, it was made out to be like this raunchy, like eroge, possibly like doujinshi level stuff. And then I read it, it's like, nah, it's mostly cute lesbians. This was not nearly as raunchy as it was made out to be.
Good enough reason to read it by itself?
The weird thing with it is that they're stepsisters. That's where it gets the weird anime part from it.
It's fine, it's anime, you get used to it. Just forget about that part. Just every time they say step, actually no, not step. Every time they say step, both words, it gets worse.
Stop while you're ahead.
Every time you hear the word stepsister, you get a buzzer and just like hit it.
Pretty much.
I don't know. Man, there's so many things I gotta read, but so little time. I've got other things I want to do. Like I want to watch anime. I want to play games. I want to study Japanese. Like, do I want to read manga as well? It's like maybe.
I don't have a lot. I'm so behind on my weekly stuff. The main thing has been watching have been a couple episodes of One Piece here and there. I'm mostly caught up in a new anime that started airing, The Great Jahi Cannot Be Defeated. Which is
I'm
adorable.
watching that as well. I love that the ending, is it, who's doing the end? It's Nene and a couple other people from HoloLive doing the ending theme.
Oh, is it?
Oh, wait, you didn't know?
No, I didn't. That's exciting.
It's Aqua, Subaru, and Nene.
Oh.
I thought you would have known about that. Yeah.
No, I did not. I don't keep up with what they do outside of streams all that much.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, they're the ones doing the ending. I love it, though. It's great.
Despite being a VTuber, I'm really bad at keeping up with VTubers.
That's fair.
Mainly because, again, time constraints.
Look, I don't know shit that's happening in the Linux community either, so, like, we're on the same page.
I know what's happening if Gardner Bryan and Nick from Linux Experiment mention it.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
And even then, I don't watch everything they upload.
Like, if it gets popular enough that it hits the front page of Reddit, I'll probably find out about it. That's about it.
Yeah, mainly. Because that's really the main Linux channel I watch is Linux Experiment, and then I watch a couple of your videos. Though you go into a lot more technical stuff where I'm just kind of like,
No, that's entirely fair, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, sure. How do I click the button?
No, there honestly
in my brain, I'm still the skill level of a Windows user.
That reminds me of a meme someone said on my Discord earlier.
I think that may be why my tutorials are so helpful to people, because I'm just like, I'm gonna assume you're as dumb as me because I'm dumb as rocks.
Oh, it wasn't on the. It was okay. No, it was somewhere else. It was one of those programmers now. Programmers in the past, programmers now. Programmers in the past, I wrote this kernel from scratch in C. Programmers now, where's the button to click?
Yep, that sounds about right. Especially since a lot of programming goes into video games and stuff, but they've all swapped over to engines. So a lot of the programming aspect has been taken out unless you have to make a custom feature.
Yeah. Well, I hope you I hope you're not just putting a bunch of assets together, but
I mean, no, but you can make a baseline out of the assets and then build from there.
Well, yeah,
you don't have to make everything from scratch now.
Sure, yeah. If you're trying to like prototype something, you can throw a prototype together in like a couple hours.
Yeah, no, like I've seen games that have actually come really good games by just they take the baseline assets, they make it, and then maybe they'll start making some custom models and stuff and throw it in there. But the base engine itself, they won't modify at all.
Sure, that makes sense.
I mean, that's how we got games like House Flipper, Power Wash Simulator, those sort of games that are just like, they don't need to be super in-depth because the point of them is just to be relaxing.
Sure. That's fair enough. But, yeah, we probably should end it because I got other things to do.
Yeah, now actually we should end it.
Yeah, it's been an extra 20 minutes now.
Enjoy the extra content.
Yeah, extra. That's what that is, I guess. I guess we can call it content. That's one way to describe it.
Yeah, it's close enough. Content adjacent.
So, let's see. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/itsRogueRen. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/c/RogueRen. And you can find me on Twitter on twitter.com/@itsRogueRen. Or /itsRogueRen. @itsRogueRen on Twitter. I'm bad at social media. Did you know apparently you're supposed to post on Twitter twice a day?
Hey?
For its algorithm, you're supposed to post on Twitter twice a day. I didn't know that.
Sure. I post a couple more times. Is it like, is twice like the optimal point? Does it get worse from that point, or how does that work?
I think twice is the optimal point. I think more doesn't necessarily hurt you, but it just doesn't help you.
Sure. Okay. Huh. That makes sense.
But I've been like, oh, I haven't made a tweet in like what, 3 days? Oh fuck.
I schedule my upload notification, so there's my tweet. Big brain right there.
Oh god, I should do. Yeah, you post practically daily. I post every week because
yeah,
I have today to record and mostly edit, and then like a few hours tomorrow to finish editing, and I hope that's good enough.
So it's 6 videos a week on the main channel plus a live stream. Then on the gaming channel, I do 2 streams and take like 5 shorts from that. Then the podcast and 3 clips from that. So whatever that works out to be.
I don't know how you have the tech, because you work as well, don't you?
I do. Well, I don't work that much. I work like 9 hours a week.
Oh, okay.
Most
but you're
at this point,
you're in uni, so
I finished uni, but most of it at this point is
Oh,
from
shit.
I did, yeah. And now I'm just sitting around making YouTube videos. I'm using my degree very well, but most of my income at this point can be supplemented with the channel.
I mean, yeah, you're actually making money off it. I'm not.
At some point, maybe 8 years down the line.
Yeah, like I've in the 4 years I've been streaming on Twitch, I've had 1 payout.
Jeez. Well, I think the one thing that I think would make a lot of sense for you is clips. Getting clips onto YouTube, because Twitch algorithm's awful.
Yeah, no. That's why I'm trying to push my Twitch more and mention in my videos that I have a Twitch. I stream games from Linux if you want to. So like say my latest video was a video on installing Linux, which is the one I'm currently editing. I've said throughout, it's like, and hey, while this is downloading, see if I'm live on Twitch if you want to see how this works in action to run games and stuff.
You definitely have the segues down from 4 years. I can see that.
I mean, you have to do it now. It's gotten to the point where like people find it annoying that you say at the beginning, hey, like and subscribe. But then you look at your analytics and every time you say it, people liked and subscribed. It fucking works.
It does.
I don't know why, but it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't say it. I have a little overlay that appears, but
I need to make one of those. Is what I need to do.
You can, look, if you go onto YouTube, look up free like and subscribe overlay, you'll find them.
Yeah, I need to just make it in Kden Live and export it as like a WebM with transparency so I can just slap it on.
Yep. Makes it very easy. That's what I do.
So like I know how to do this stuff. I don't have the time to actually do them.
Mm-hmm.
Because another thing I should mention out. I also I've made a Patreon now.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to try to post videos there as soon as I finish editing them. So they'll be posted like Tuesday or Wednesday on Patreon, and then they'll go live on Friday.
Right, okay. Okay. I've been looking at like doing Patreon stuff, just like what do I do? Like what do I do with it?
You make money off Patreon and you don't even do anything on it.
No, I don't do.
What am I doing wrong?
I have a Discord role. That's what I do with it.
I don't know. Sitting here like I'm seeing these people who are just like, I'm seeing them like actually like growing and stuff. I'm just like, clearly I'm doing something wrong. I just need to figure out what the hell it is.
You are in a hyper niche, so like there is that.
I think that's part of my problem is that it's just like find a niche because everything's oversaturated. It's like, okay, cool. Linux VTuber. I think you went a bit too far. Damn it.
I think there's some way it could work, but I don't know.
I need to find a way to make it work if I'm going to keep doing it, essentially.
For me, I was just in the right place at the right time. That's what happened with me.
That's all it is right place, right time. I just need to keep throwing stuff until I find that right place.
Well, I hope whatever you end up doing goes well. Whatever you
I'm still gonna make stuff. I'm never gonna stop. I love making videos and stuff. It is literally my creative outlet. I need to make things.
Well, hopefully find a niche that works. Maybe you can somehow get. I don't know. Maybe if you. I don't know.
It's kind of working. I mean, my channel's growing. I went from like 20-something subscribers to over 300. So I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you're at least not going negative. So that's something.
Yeah. And I've gotten like Discord DMs of people being like, I saw your video. How do I do this and this to get Linux working to do this thing? To be a VTuber. And it's like, oh, I'm helping people.
I think what's very possible is there's going to be at some point someone ends up becoming a popular VTuber on Linux, and when that happens, then your video is going to be the first thing that show up.
Yeah, because I think I'm the only VTuber that's daily driving Linux as their main thing.
Yeah,
there have been some others like Sanyan has done Linux streams, but I believe they mainly stream off of Mac, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, yeah.
That's their like main development environment. I think I'm the only one who's like actually on Linux, and the whole point is they're on Linux.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, I can say things, but for me, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just winging it basically.
Same.
I see a
That's
video
all.
do well. I'm like, I don't know why they did well.
That's all it is. I think now that I've gotten stuff to actually look a bit more interesting, because all my stuff before was like black and white monochrome, which looked cool but didn't stand out super well.
Yeah.
Now that I've done like this red neon thing, I'm gonna lead more into the neon stuff. I think it'll actually make me stand out a bit more and look a little more interesting. I think that's my main issue.
I think that would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's just
maybe a
interesting
redesign
visuals.
of your overlays or something like that.
I have actually. I've changed them to, instead of being white boxes, they're now with like black borders. They're white boxes with a red glow for everything.
Oh, I must have missed your recent streams then.
I've only done one stream with the new design, and that was I think yesterday.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it looks pretty cool. And I've also now done this with neon that I'm gonna do on everything, and it's gonna make it stand out even more. And I think I'm gonna actually try to lean it. I initially had a lore idea of being like a rogue AI, hence the Rogue Ren part, and then I proceeded to do nothing with it. So I think I'll start to lean more into that. And like try to actually play a character, because a lot of VTubers play a character. I think that is something that people are looking for in the space.
For me, I sort of look for VTubers who are like being like, playing a character is fine, but when it's someone like just being themselves, like if the character's the way they be themselves, that's cool. But like, I look for someone who's just trying to like be a genuine person, not trying to like fake someone they're really not.
Oh yeah, I don't mean like playing a character like I'm acting the whole time. I mean like a character is in like, I am an AI, and so I would be myself through the filter of an AI.
Sure, okay, that makes sense.
Like kind of like how Iron Mouse is just herself through the filter of being a demon.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I get what you're getting at then. Oh, speaking of Iron Mouse, I have my Iron Mouse hoodie on.
I have got an Iron Mouse mouse pad underneath my keyboard and mouse.
And this is a Nana's shirt.
Yeah.
This one showed up yesterday. I've got another one here, actually.
This is the best closing statements ever.
It is, I know. The stream the thing should have ended a while ago. This one.
Nice.
I presume you've seen the new mouse pads they've got.
I've seen the pictures of the new ones.
Yeah. So there's like a normal one and a sexy variant, and it looks like Vey does not have a normal one. It's just the sexy variant. To make sense for Vey. Somehow we didn't went the entire thing without talking about Vshoujo. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah. I think at this point, you should just cut this part out and just add on your outro.
Maybe. Look,
because we've already done the where to find me and everything. So I think at this point, the rest of this is just off.
Well,
off the record.
I don't do an outro. I just let the guests do an outro.
Oh. Bye.
Sure, bye.